You're listening to Vitamin Geek.
Vitamin Geek.
Vitamin Geek. Vitamin Geek.
You are totally listening to Vitamin Geek.
You are listening to Vitamin Geek.
You're listening to Vitamin Geek.
Vitamin Geek Podcast.
What the hell's the name of the show again? Vitamin Geek.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the 6th episode of Vitamin Geek Podcast, and it is all about retro gaming. I'm your host, Corey Keelan, and with me tonight is Eric Williams.
What's up, everyone?
Eric Kretschmar.
Yo.
Patrick Sykes.
Greetings.
Brian Wallace.
It's actually Valentine's Day right now, anybody that was wondering. So, we have no life. Here we go.
And with us tonight is a special guest, a man near and dear to all of our hearts, except maybe Eric Williams because he just met him on the Skype. His name is Andy Hickson.
Yo!
And Andy is coming to us from the great land of Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're not going to give his address out, though.
Corey lives at 123 Maple Street.
I'm on Maples.
Maple Street.
So anyway, it is Valentine's Day, and, some of us are having troubles. In fact, that's why a lot of the voices you're used to hearing are not here now because of Valentine's and or family engagements. So it's all good.
What's our excuse, Corey?
We love our listeners so much that we're giving them our hearts on this very special day. So we're talking about retro gaming tonight. I guess we're defining retro gaming as anything pre-PlayStation 1. So
that makes me feel old.
Yeah, because that came out a long time ago.
1994.
1990. Look at Andy; he's already batting 1,000. Oh, before we get started, I want to give a really quick shout out to our sponsor, Fright Rags. They make the greatest horror t-shirts in the whole world, basically. If you like horror movies and you like t-shirts, it's pretty much a perfect fit. And their stuff is all quality. I know Eric Williams owns some of their shirts. I remember buying him some, I think.
I've got a handful, too, I've ordered.
There we go. See, that's what happens. You buy one for a friend, they go get a handful. So, everybody check out fright-rags.com. Tell them that Vitamin Geek sent you so that they know that we are giving them the proverbial shout out. And holler at Ben over there. He's the owner of Fright Rags. Good dude. They go to some of the bigger horror cons and set up booths there. So stop by, see them, check out their shirts. I guarantee you will find something you like. They're really awesome shirts. First segment of our show is going to be brought to you by a man small in stature, but large in attitude. His name is Brian Wallace with VG News.
Hey guys, it's VG News for all things cool and all the stuff you care about. I remembered the tagline today. I got a lot of articles, but they're real short, to the point.
Let me say something real quick.
Yeah.
You got that tagline out like freaking gangbusters. That was really good.
Thanks, man. I had to practice like 10 times in front of the mirror, flexing.
I believe it. It paid off.
All right. Anyway, the first thing, I don't know if anybody saw today, maybe Kretschmar did, but they revealed the PlayStation 4 controller prototype. It's kind of interesting, actually. There's not a lot we know about it other than this picture. It's got some adjusted shoulder buttons, a move sensor, a touchpad. It's got a speaker on the front of it, and an unknown port. So it's going to be real interesting. Probably another proprietary port being Sony, but keep an eye out. PlayStation 4 might have something going on. It's rumored to be more revealed in E3. All right, this next article, I promise there's no spoilers for you, so don't even freak out, anybody listening. In case you probably read it by now whenever it comes out, but apparently the last issue of Batman, number 17, the new 52, ends the story of death in the family. I know Patrick probably knows this pretty well. It's apparently getting really high reviews. And let me just read you a little tidbit that it says If you're in Gotham City, you have no doubt experienced the gripping fear that the Joker is able to bring, but not since the era of the Killing Joke and Death in the Family has one of the Joker's attacks felt so personal and invasive of Batman's world. And in the concluding chapter, IGN gave it a perfect 10, and they managed to shock and disturb readers, but instead of doing something as bland and elementary as simply killing a character, the Joker gets the last laugh and cracked the foundation of trust that Bruce Wayne has worked so hard to establish with his allies. So if anybody's intrigued, because I am, that'll be definitely one to check out. Other news.
Is that still Scott Snyder?
Yeah,
doing
still
that?
Scott
Awesome.
Snyder. Good call.
Great writer.
He's super good.
Yep.
He also did the Court of the Owls little story, which started out the Batman self-titled New 52 comic, so highly recommend it. Other news, the Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage, which is also the dwarf character, if anybody can think of who he is right now.
He's an elf. He runs across the desk in Elf, grabs Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he is an elf. He has now joined the growing cast of X-Men Days of Future Past. And who do you think he's going to play? I'm going to give the guess to Patrick first.
Holy cow. I have no
Think
idea.
of a small character, Marvel Universe. I bet Eric Williams would know.
No, I'm kind of stumped. I was wondering when I heard about it.
Oh, Puck.
Really?
Anybody know Puck?
Huck?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Not a big character, but it hasn't been confirmed yet, but everybody thinks that there's no other possible character it could be. I mean, that's horrible, but true.
When you say Puck, though, I think of that guy from the real world that used to eat peanut butter out of the jar with his fingers.
I think that shows your age that you watch the real world, but
I tried audition.
anyway, the next news article is they have a new Hannibal TV show coming out, if anybody didn't know, and they released the first artwork from it, which Hannibal Lecter is played by the Casino Royale's Mads Mikkelsen. So if you're interested in this, NBC is what it's going to be on. They're not going to do a pilot and test it. They've already signed on a whole season. They just haven't decided on what date to release it or tell when they're going to release it. So Patrick didn't sound excited, but maybe somebody is.
I'm looking at this promo photo, dude, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, if you look at it for a while, it starts to mess with you because you just start to think, man, I don't know. He could do good or could be horrible.
I'd give it a shot, man. I mean, at least because those movies are cool. I mean, I didn't like the second one, Hannibal.
Really?
Yeah.
I really liked Red Dragon. And,
Have you read the book for Hannibal?
No.
It's much better than the book, actually, but believe it or not. There's too much going on in that book, but the movie actually streamlines it and makes it much better.
Really?
Yes, it does.
Because Julianne Moore kind of ruined it for me.
Mm-mm.
She sucks, man.
Oh, man, you're nuts.
Wow. I mean,
Man,
that's an
you're
Oscar-winning actress, man.
I don't know what movie you were watching, dude, but you were not watching Hannibal. I don't know
He
what's
was
the matter
watching
there.
Hannibal Rising.
I liked that better though, man. Hannibal Rising, I liked better than the second one. Yeah.
All right. Next two articles are for my man Patrick. Guess what? Jurassic Park is getting a toy line, obviously, for their new movie, and Hasbro, the original, creator of Jurassic Park's toys, is agreeing to continue their legacy. So they believe that Jurassic Park has evolved over the last 20 years, and they feel it would be right to have, stick to the roots and continue producing great toys. One more for Patrick is, I don't know if you saw this, Patrick, but DC Collectibles revealed today from Toy Fair 2013 two pictures, one of Zod and one of Jor-El, and it shows them full in suit. And let me tell you, Zod looks freaking awesome.
Zod looks like he's just really tripping on that armor, man. I mean, he's ready to do some damage.
Oh, man. Can you believe it? Do you see the Jor-El picture? Just to describe to everybody, Jor-El's wearing, gold and, has this huge, S emblem chest plate and a gun. It's really awesome looking.
It's not your granddad Superman, people.
So, I'm sure Patrick's excited about that. And got a couple of Death in the Family figures there. You probably saw too.
Yeah, dude, I'll be on that one, man. Thanks.
Oh, no problem. Next article is Corey will be excited about this one, is a new Arkham, maybe not Arkham City, but a new Arkham game is coming out this year. They promise by the end of 2013 you're going to get another Arkham game.
Cool.
And then last but not least, since everybody seems to kind of like Walking Dead, I guess, their mid-season premiere for Season 3 earned its largest audience in series history last night, delivering 12.3 million viewers in the 9 p.m. slot. The previous record was 10.9 for the Season 3 premiere, by the way. So keep them coming. Yeah, and that was up against the Grammys. So
Yeah, dude, I thought that was going to really adversely affect the viewership for Walking Dead, but apparently not, man. Everybody's like, who cares about Grammys? We love zombies. But
yeah, man. So that'll wrap it up for VG News. I'll pass it back to Corey.
cool. Thanks, Brian. Those were awesome stories. There were some other toys that came out. Well, they haven't come out, but the news came out about them.
Yep.
I know Patrick and I have been texting back and forth like extensively about these.
Yeah.
The 60s Adam West Batman.
Yeah, man.
Show.
Toy Fair debuted last weekend. You know, they had their big show, and the big thing now is that they're putting out finally putting out licensed toys from the '66 Batman television series. It's not like they didn't have a huge line of merchandise back in the '60s, but these are like official likenesses, really great representations of the characters. They're going to have one. That NECA's going to make an 18-inch one of Adam West, and you can look online and see it, and it looks, I mean, it's prototype, but it looks really, really good. And even along with that, NECA's going to make an 89 Michael Keaton 18-inch figure to come out, I guess, about the same time. But this is all summer merchandise coming out here. Well, it's not going to be much longer here the way this is going. But it's really, really good. It looks really
I
good.
assume they're all like fully in costume. You can't remove the mask or anything, right?
Right.
Okay.
So far.
6 inchers coming out.
These are what are they, Mattel?
Yeah, I think Mattel's got the license for this one. But they've got tons of licenses with tons of companies. At least a dozen companies have got licenses for the show, so there's no telling what all's going to come out this year after this.
So, see, the Mattel stuff is kind of like the, I'm not saying it's bad. It's like the entry-level stuff.
Yep.
You know, they're going to be articulated, but they're not going to have removable clothing. It's not going to be cloth. It's just built onto the figure. But the likenesses so far for Frank Gorshin as the Riddler.
That's really good.
Oh, man, they're...
You and the Riddler lately, man. I swear you got a man crush on him.
I do, man, and there's going to be so much more Riddler crap to
Just
buy.
tell me this: in the Arkham games, did you even find all the riddles?
Yeah.
Dude, I tried on Arkham Asylum. I haven't Arkham City. I've only played Arkham City for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
You didn't
Arkham
like it?
Asylum. No, I love it, but I just had other things to do. I just started it like a couple weeks ago anyway.
That'll take you a while.
Arkham Asylum I really enjoyed, and I looked for all the riddles, and it just kind of. I don't know. I was playing it on PS3, so that's probably one of the reasons I didn't like it as well.
Well, I cheated and used YouTube anyway.
Yeah, for any fans who want to get a sneak peek of what these figures are going to look like, you can go to Tom's, and that's with a Z, Toys, ends with a Z.blogspot.com, which is essentially called the Bat Blog. And they have lots of really good pictures of how these toys are going to look.
Huh.
And we'll post a couple of them up on our Twitter and our Facebook too, because I'm super excited about those, and I know Patrick's freaking out too. All right, anything else anybody's got to add to the news?
No.
I think we're covered.
Patrick, you good? Okay. All right. Next, I want to do another one of our podcast spotlights. Since we are going to be talking about retro gaming this evening, another podcast came to mind. The name of it is Factory Sealed, and they describe it as a retro gaming podcast, so it's kind of a no-brainer there. They've only had a few episodes, and they haven't been coming out like regularly. I mean, I got 2 episodes, and then like I think it was a month without one for a while, but it's really good. It seems like each episode they pick a game or two, or they'll get listeners to pick a game or two, and they'll actually go back and like play it for the week. You know, they'll try to beat it or whatever, or if it's just crap and they can't stand it, they'll of course stop playing. But it's really cool. I think the last episode I listened to, they were playing Pokemon Yellow or something, and
I think we really want to do something like that. I guess we need to look more into. You were saying you didn't know the rules about how much we can play, or tease with. I wonder if we could do a show like that.
What, where we play a game?
No, like where we're able to play some of those clips and talk about it. Maybe a TV show or something.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the legal repercussions are for playing trademarked or copywritten materials on the show.
Hey, maybe Andy knows. You know, Andy?
I haven't a clue. You could always say it's educational purposes, and then you won't get in trouble.
I like that.
Yeah, we I guess we could change the category of the podcast. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll look more into that. But what they do on their show is they'll talk about what games they've been playing. It's always really old stuff, and it's just really entertaining. I really like the show, so wanted to give them a shout out. Check it out. It's on iTunes. It's on pretty much any way you get your podcasts you can find it. It's called Factory Sealed, and their cover photo is awesome. It's got like Mario and God, what's the guy's name? Is it Chrono? Is that the character from Chrono Trigger? Is his name Chrono? The lead character? I don't know. Kretschmar's probably got it on mute. Dude, I played it for like an hour. I never beat the game.
So who is it, Kretschmar?
Yeah,
Fill in our fan. Oh, okay.
Well, there you go, big guy. I knew it. And Sonic the Hedgehog, it looks cool. It looks like the cover of Mario 3, because I did play that game. Factory Sealed. All right. So moving right along, we are going to do our listener interactions. And if you guys haven't noticed, I've been tweeting and Facebooking out a strange phone number just as much as possible.
Is that your personal cell number?
That is actually not my personal cell number.
Oh, man. I need to tweet that one out.
That is I get texts from it, but it's not my number. That is the vitamin. No. Yeah. Send us messages, just not to my phone. That number, just in case you guys have something to write with, is 423-822-2037.
Do it again.
423-822-2037.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That is our Google Voice number. You can call into the show and leave us a nice voicemail with questions, comments. A lot of people want to use it for a quick and easy way to respond to our questions that we post up for the week. We usually post some sort of question that kind of goes along with whatever the topic of the episode is. So we had 3 voicemails.
Is it true that you might actually play some of those voicemails on the show?
Rumor has it that I might be playing some of those voicemails, and I am going to play some of those voicemails.
Oh, snap.
The first one...
Is it okay to send dirty pictures to it?
No. No, they're all dudes, man. No.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Frenchmore may swing that way. I don't know.
French boys? What?
Frenchmore may swing that way.
Oh, he may. He's real quiet tonight.
No. I like the ladies. And it's Kretschmar.
Hey, by the way, guys, if any ladies are listening out there in Venezuela or Australia...
I'm not sure why you're trying to set me up with a Venezuelan woman. That's just a little odd here.
Or lady boys.
The country, just a little bit far.
How about New Zealand?
Yeah, that's perfect. Get you a kiwi. So,
or a sheep.
You have to peel it first. It sucks.
Hey, man, a little fuzz ain't gonna hurt you.
Oh, man. Okay, let's do this, family.
We just crossed over. All right. So our first voicemail is from Rob Marshall, a.k.a. Marshall Mayhem, on Twitter. He's one of our listeners pretty much since episode 1, and an all-around awesome guy. From what
What's up, guys? This is Rob Marshall at Marshall Mayhem. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I never miss an episode. My question is, what's the first game console you owned, and what's the first game you played on it? This is Rob Marshall at Marshall Mayhem, and you're listening to the only podcast that gives you your weekly dosage of geek, Vitamin Geek Podcast.
Okay, so basically what Rob was asking is what all what everybody's first console was that they got, and what the first game they remember playing on that console. We will start off with Mr. Eric Williams.
I was a typical original NES. Original Mario. That's where it all started for me.
Good game, dude. Perfect.
My uncle had an Atari, but I wasn't allowed to touch it, so my gaming career started with the original NES.
Well, you started in the right place, man. That's definitely a system that's like near and dear to my heart, at least. Eric Kretschmar.
All right, well, I did play the NES. It was always my buddy's and not actually mine. The first one I owned was the original Game Boy, and the first game I had was Kirby's Dream Land.
Oh, yeah, that's a good game.
That is a good game. You just skipped over Tetris and went straight to Kirby?
I had Tetris too, but I liked Kirby better when I was younger.
There was a Tetris 2?
No, as well.
Oh, wow.
And yes, there was a Tetris too.
It must have been awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick Sykes, what you got?
Atari 2600 for Christmas.
Whoa!
And yes, that was 1981. First
Man.
game I played on that was Pac-Man.
Man, that was such a bad version of Pac-Man, but at the time it was like, yeah, this is great.
At the time, it was like if you had an Atari, man, you were awesome. Everybody wanted to come to your house.
It's a cool system, dude, for sure.
Oh yeah, it was the big one to start off with.
All right, Brian Wallace, what do you got, man?
The first game I remember playing was on Atari. That was the I think it's called Pitfall. Is that right? Where you're swinging on the vines.
Yeah,
It was a great game. But the first one that I remember was actually mine. Was on Nintendo, and I had Turtles 2, the arcade game, and like that one was just so awesome. And I remember playing it, beating it over and over. And so I went back and got the first one. I don't know if anybody remembers playing the first one. It was like way different. It was like a huge map, and then you'd walk around. It was kind of like a Zelda kind of playfield, and then you'd click on it, and then go in. It was a hard game. I remember this level with the underwater. Somebody help me out.
Oh, God.
Remember that?
Yeah, the bombs.
Defuse the bombs. Yeah, that made me so mad. But
Well, it doesn't make any sense. You're turtles, and you're drowning, right?
yeah, I know. It was so hard, man. Yeah.
That was a bad game, dude. I can't imagine going from the arcade game, which is really cool, and then going back to that piece of crap first game. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Andy Hickson, what you got, man?
Well, I got the crown of being the youngest person in here. So I was right on the edge of the NES, and the first game I remember playing was Paperboy.
Oh, Paperboy was
Wow, I
solid.
remember that.
Little snippet. Did you know it was the first NES game made in the U.S.?
I did not know that. It seems very, like, U.S.-centric, I guess.
Huh.
I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool game. What? Anyway. So I guess it's back around to me. First system I owned was an Atari 2600, and the first game I remember playing on it was called Adventure. And Adventure was awesome. I mean, for its time. Like, today it looks like, a 2-year-old could have painted it. But, like, the whole goal of the game is you're this little dude, and you go to get a key to open a castle to get a sword to kill a dragon.
Wow. I need to write this down.
The sword is literally like an arrow. Not like an arrow you shoot out of a bow, but like a freaking arrow that points to the exit. And you had to make sure that the sword was like on the right end of you, and the pointy end was pointing at the dragon. It was a cool game for the time.
Man, you got me Googling this game, man.
But I mean, I played that thing once. My dad taught me how to beat it, because I was a little kid. I would play that thing all the time, just play it over and over and over. Yeah, cool. But Rob, thank you so much for the voicemail and your question. I hope we answered it thoroughly enough. Our next voicemail we got is from Bo in Saudi Daisy.
Giving a shout out to Vitamin Geek Podcast, and also, if you are on Twitter, I suggest that you start following Larry Fishbone, because that guy is hilarious.
That's awesome.
All right, Bo, thank you so much. Shout out, we appreciate that very much. Our next voicemail comes to us from Howard, aka Pad Dan, in Chattanooga.
The best Dan player in Chattanooga.
Vitamin Geek, what is good? It's Howard, aka Pad Dan, your boy. Just hitting up the topic, which is retro games. I have to say, for me, one of the best games I played would have to be Shatterhand on the NES. Real cool power-ups, cool idea. Beating down people with your bare hands was really fun, man. Great replay value. But other than that, there's a couple of NES games that I liked as well. But no time for all that. That could be for later. Keep up the good work and good games, man.
All right, cool.
All
Thanks
right.
so much for the shout out, Howard.
I don't know what Shatterfist is. Anybody?
I think
I
I've heard
played
of
it.
it, but I've never played it.
I remember it being pretty tough, man, as most games in that era were, but I could not for the life of me tell you anything about
I'm
it.
Googling it. Let's see.
I think the cover is where a dude is like punching a wall or punching something, and then his knuckles, like the flesh is ripping off his knuckles. And it looks like a T800 endoskeleton under there in his knuckles.
When I search Shatterfist, it comes up with a Marvel comic.
I don't know.
Is it a comic book?
Whoever the listener was, if you'll post that on our Facebook or Twitter, I'd love to see what you're talking about.
Howard, give us more info on the wonderful game known as Shatterfist, because we don't remember it, but it sounds awesome the way you described it, dude. We got some more.
It's Shatterhand.
Oh, is it Shatterhand?
Yeah.
Oops. Well, you can make a fist with your hand. Anyway, all right, cool. Thanks, Howard. So we got some comments on the Facebook and the Twitter. I'm going to read those real quickly. First one, I asked on the Facebook and Twitter, what's your favorite classic video game of all time? From Brandon Posey, we've got Final Fantasy III, which is really Final Fantasy VI.
Wow, I want to thank him right now for not saying 7.
Yeah. I mean, it's pre-PS1, so yeah, he did good. 6 is good too. 6 is better than 7 anyway, man. Really. Said Final Fantasy VI holds a special place, but A Link to the Past is probably one of the better games I've ever played. He holds up today.
Oh yeah.
That's for dang
You
sure.
agree with that, Kretschmar?
Oh yeah, Link to the Past is awesome.
Link to the Past is like, I really love Ocarina of Time, but I think A Link to the Past is the best Zelda game that ever came out.
Yeah.
I mean, those textures on the Super Nintendo are so gorgeous, and the game feels so epic compared to everything else that was on the Super Nintendo. It's really good. That's a great era of games. Thanks, Posey. See, we got a few more. Some lady named Nikki Sykes wrote in.
I don't know who that is.
She might be married to one of our dudes. Mainly Patrick.
Let me think. Oh, yeah.
I swear she didn't tell me that last night, Patrick.
That's not what your mother said last night, Trebek.
Your mother's a whore.
Oh man, family podcast. Okay, so Nikki Sykes says original Nintendo Paperboy. Boom, Andy Hickson.
There you
Wow.
Go. Here's the link back to Andy Hickson.
Well, we know what they're going to be doing tomorrow.
Thank you, Nikki, for writing in. We love it when people write in, especially people named Nikki.
Yeah.
Here you go, Howard Pad Dan Lashur, the guy that left us a voicemail about shatter, hand, fist, wrist, arm, whatever. Says the hardest douche of an 8-bit monster, X-Men for the NES.
Yeah.
I spent an entire weekend with Mash Out is Free, aka Wahid Hussein, for those of you in the know, trying to get the ending only for the game to cheat. Wait, was the game cheating, or was he cheating to get the ending? I don't understand. Anyway, but that game sucks, dude. X-Men for the NES was terrible.
Yeah, Genesis X-Men, that's where it's at.
Dude, I'm with Howard though. Like this, I owned that game for a while. I got it in Nashville. The game was unbeatable, dude. Like you could not win the game. I don't know how you can. Maybe with a Game Genie or something.
Don't you got Game Gear? Or what is it? No, what is that thing? It is a genie, isn't it?
Yeah,
What
it's a Game Genie.
To? Shark?
Yeah, Game Shark.
Okay, I'm an idiot. I just called it a Game Gear.
Game What did I call it? Game Shark or Game Genie?
Game Genie.
Yeah, it was the precursor. It was like dude, it was huge too. It like doubled the size of your cartridge.
It was like another cartridge you plug the cartridge into.
Right.
Exactly. Like your cartridge is like 10 feet in the air above your Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then they finally struck it down to just a CD, whatever, all the codes on a memory disc or a memory select card.
Ugh. Terrible times. But it was funny trying to some of the cheats would do crazy things to the textures and stuff. We got another one here on the Facebook from Cody Clark. Fave pre-PS1 games got to be Super Smash Bros, Mortal Kombat, and the one I spent hours on, the original Nintendo Double Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Game made me curse as a small child.
You know, my favorite part about Double Dragon is the fact that you have to fight the other player for the girl at the end. It's so awesome.
Isn't that kind of like a letdown, though? Like, kind of a bummer. You're like, yeah, it's my brother, man.
Only if you lose.
Isn't it his brother? Like in that movie, that really crappy movie, is his brother. Is it not brothers in the game?
Brothers in the game, and they're both in love with the same girl, and it's weird.
Please don't compare that doo-doo movie to that game.
Dude,
they share the same
Dude, when
name.
they put their necklace together, it's like the most epic thing ever.
We have no idea what this necklace is going to do. Let's just connect it to pieces.
All right, we got a few more comments here on the Twitter. I'm going to move over to that. This one comes from Corey McDaniel at Ribbonloin67.
Whoa. That's major.
That's the best handle ever.
Nobody outside of Chattanooga understands that at all. Is Ribbon Loin like global, or it's just local, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So he says at Vitamin Geek, Super Nintendo, greatest system ever. Agreed. Best Mario, one of the best Zelda games. Link to the Past. Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, and so much more.
Can I just debate about best Mario? I think best Mario was number 3.
Amen.
Regular Nintendo. I hated using Yoshi, man.
I think the best Mario is the very first Mario.
Really?
No, 3.
Still to this day, love that game.
Yeah, Super Mario All-Stars. The best of both worlds.
Well, yeah, but that's cheating.
Yeah, I know.
Mario 3, I gotta decide with Wallace. Mario 3 is the best. Like,
What's
did you
your
guys get
favorite
the
Mario
anniversary
Kart?
for GameCube or not for the Wii?
No, but I heard that it's really good. I heard it's got like everything.
Yeah, I got that for Nikki one year. She just plays 3 all the time.
I didn't like 3 that much.
Okay, quick poll. Everybody that's played the original Marios, what's your favorite one? Eric Williams.
I'm sorry.
All right. What's your favorite original Mario out of 1 through 3?
And it can't be All Stars. It's got to be 1, 2, or 3.
Mine's number 1.
Whoa,
that's my boy.
Man.
That's my boy.
Touchmark.
Well, it's kind of a trick question because 2 wasn't actually a Mario game.
It's Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah. Way to listen to what I told you once, Corey. Congratulations. But
now,
yeah.
Can you give me the 30-second spiel on that? I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah. It's the original game was Doki Doki Panic. Yeah, they didn't think it would actually sell in America, so they rebranded it as Mario. It's not the first time Nintendo's done this.
It's not the first time any company's done it. They did that with Silent Hill 4. They did that with Final Fantasy Adventure, Final Fantasy, what is it, Legend?
Oh, yeah, that's actually part of the Secret of Mana series.
Wait, no, the Adventure is is the Mana series, and then the Legend is the Saga Frontier.
Yeah, you're right, sorry.
Alright. And,
that game is tough.
Andy, did you play any of the Marios?
3, I played all of them that I kind of remember, but I know 3 is like my favorite.
Cool. So we got a tie.
Which one does it had the I want to say Battle Royal, but it's like where you could fight player to player and that little.
That's 3. Yeah, that's actually one of taken from the original arcade game.
Oh yeah, that was on 3. Yeah. Cool.
All right, cool. So we have settled the dispute with Mario. Not the saga continues. Next comment we got from Scruffy Nerf Herder at _Nerf Herder. He says, at Vitamin Geek, hard question. Favorite game system is definitely N64. Games vary from DK64 to GoldenEye to Mario Kart 64.
Hey, Griffey Jr. Slugfest. Come on.
Yeah, dude.
The 64 was a good system, but it didn't have enough games to be the best.
It had Diddy Kong Racing, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because that'll make it the greatest of all time. I played it. I liked it. It's still not the best system.
I didn't like how, when I was a little kid, I saved up my money to get the expansion pack, and I was like, the games look the same.
Yeah, they did.
This is a ripoff. And then, like,
Yeah, just-
anybody get the Rumble Pack, and, like, it would shake the controller at first, and then after a while, it would just shake the Rumble Pack, and you were like, well, this sucks.
That's where I drew the line. I didn't go that far.
Mine glitched. You wouldn't have to be in the controller to shake. You just lay on the ground and start shaking.
Oh, yeah?
In my opinion, one of the best things about the N64 is that all the Super Nintendo games went on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
Can I just
Super
say,
Nintendo.
since we're on retro gaming, I remember walking into, everybody listening, EB Games, which it used to be Electronics Boutique.
Yeah.
And that was the full name up there. I remember walking in with cash that I'd saved in like a piggy bank and going to the shelf and picking up Jurassic Park for regular Nintendo, and it was like $49.99 and then like $54 something with tax, and I was like so excited, and I saved the original box, and I was like, man, I'm going to keep this game forever, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to give it to my kids, and those kids going to give it to their kids.
And 2 hours later, you took a sledgehammer to it.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't that great.
You can't even find retro games or classic games like a GameStop anymore. They've gotten rid of all of them.
Yeah.
It's
and
all
EB Games
stuff.
is GameStop now, pretty much, or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no money in it, so just to collectors on the market, dude.
Did you see they make a handheld Super Nintendo player now?
They do that for
it's called a
Super
smartphone.
Nintendo.
No, it's like you can put the cartridges in it.
Yeah.
Those big note-sized cartridges.
It looks cool, but it looks ridiculous with a humongous cartridge sticking out the back of it.
It does look pretty crazy with the cartridge in it. All right, cool. We got to move on here, guys. Got a few more Twitter tweets here.
Hey, at least we're on topic, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's fun, man. I feel like an old dude sitting on the porch with his Werther's Originals.
You are
talking.
That's great.
We're just sitting there like whittling wood with our pocket knives, talking about the good old days when games were difficult and you didn't have like save states for every freaking game on the market.
Back when I bought the Virtual Boy and it burned out my eyes.
Okay, so Kurt Crutchfield at the Dirty Baby 318 says at Vitamin Geek Altered Beast !
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Does anybody remember how that game starts?
You like it?
It's like they summon you. Like it's what is it? Zeus or somebody summons you?
Yeah, you're dead, and he says, "Wise from your grave."
Rise from your grave.
He doesn't even say "rise," dude. Go back on
from your
YouTube and
grave.
listen to that. It sounds like he says "wise from your grave."
My word is a sacred institution.
It's like the worst case of English since that one podcast where you were speaking like that Japanese dude from Sony. It's pretty rough, dude. But I love that game.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You were talking as the
No, move on.
You're like, oh, I want some fried rice. Okay, here we go.
Family
We'll
show.
move along. All right, so Cody, aka Hinky, at the real Hinky, said at Vitamin Geek, fave pre PS1 games. That's hard to say. Gotta be. Wait, didn't I just? This looks like I just read this. Oh no, it's a different person saying the same thing. Fave pre PS1 game got to be Super Smash Bros, Mortal Kombat, and the one I spent hours on the original Nintendo.
Yeah, we
Double
talked
Dragon.
about that.
Wait,
We
that
said
was
that.
on Facebook and okay, sorry guys.
Move on.
That was on both sites. Okay, Rob Marshall, who called into the show earlier. Thank you, Rob. At Marshall Mayhem on Twitter says at Vitamin Geek Super Mario World on Super Nintendo. Even today, I could play that game for hours if I still had it.
Well, I'm sure
Yeah.
you can go to some crappy yard sale and get it for a nickel. I'm sure everybody in America owned that game, right?
Yeah, it came with like when I got my Super Nintendo, it came with it.
Oh, okay.
There was something else on there. I can't remember. At Atelian, I guess. Attellian. At Atelian says, at Vitamin Geek Arcade, hashtag Tempest Pinball, hashtag Gorgar, Commodore 64, hashtag Leather Goddess of Phobos. I know Tempest.
Man, this guy is hardcore.
He is. I
Man.
have no idea what any of that stuff is besides Tempest.
Kretschmar?
Tempest is old.
No. Not off the top of my head. It does sound a bit familiar, but
Yeah, Tempest is pretty old.
I know Tempest. Yeah, Gorgar. I don't know that table, but I don't even think I ever played Commodore 64.
Oh man, you don't know what you're missing.
Is that the system that like Maniac Mansion was the best thing on it?
Maniac Mansion was
Maniac
like
Mansion?
PC.
Yeah.
Isn't Commodore 64 a PC?
Yeah,
kind
it
of?
was like the first one that you could people could afford to fit in their homes, cassette deck and floppy drives.
Dude, I remember my brother went out and saved his money, and he bought this thing called an XI. Anybody remember that?
No.
And it was a Sega Genesis and a Sega CD combined into one system. I remember he paid like $350 for it.
I remember
Wow.
those. The original Sega was by itself, and then they made the Sega CD, which is like I had a tray next to it, and you sat the original Sega in. But then they released that one. It was like a double decker.
Yeah, and it
was built
wasn't
in all one
made by
box.
Sega either. It was made by like some other company. I thought it was kind of weird. It was a console that wasn't made by
Yeah.
Sega. And then they had the 32X. You remember that piece of crap?
Oh yeah, dude. I got sucked into the Sega hardware crap.
Did you get the Saturn?
Yes, I did. It's Sega. I just got. Yeah, it's Sega. Buy it. It's glossy black. It looks fancy.
They're going to make awesome systems in the year 2013.
Yeah, Sega's still around. They picked up Runic Studio when THQ went out of business. I'm the only one that understood
Okay,
that.
other than Sonic and that crappy Ridge Racer, what do they even make? Kretschmar?
They make currently they make sports games and strategy games.
You know what? I don't even think they make Ridge Racer. I'm sorry. So,
Who, Sega?
yeah.
No, Ridge Racer is Namco.
Oh, okay. Thank God we cleared that up now. I knew the listeners would just jump on me on that one.
Reese's Retraction.
All 5 of them.
Dude, you're going to bring back Reese's Retraction.
Quest for Peace.
Reese's Retraction Part 3, Quest for Peace.
No, that's Superman 4. Stop it.
We are not going to have a Quest for Peace on the show. We only seek war. Okay, so next up, anybody else got any just random... Actually, you know what? Next section's perfect for random wondering. It is What You Up To. We're going to start out with Eric Williams, man. What you up to?
I recently purchased Aliens Colonial Marines. The first-person shooter just came out last week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I heard
hey,
terrible stuff.
I know.
about that.
Listen, it's getting some really bad reviews, but you know, if anybody who knows me knows how I am with anybody who gives reviews, you can eat a bag, censor the rest. Anyway, if you're a fan of Aliens, especially the Aliens, the James Cameron, you'll enjoy this. The sound, it's a fun game. I mean, it's got its hiccups here and there. I mean, if you play it straight through, I've already beat it once in the normal difficulty. It's about a 10-hour game. I'm going through and it has 6 difficulties. The last one is called Badass. And I can't even hardly get after the first stage. It's ridiculous. I mean,
So would you recommend getting it now or in a week when it's $10 in the used bin?
well,
I was just kidding.
in a few months when it's in the used bin, I'd purchase. If you're a definite fan of the series, you'll enjoy this game.
I'm a fan of 1 and 2. Does that count enough to...
Yeah, if you
enjoy
probably
the game?
like it. I mean, if you can get a discount, I mean, I wouldn't pay. I went out and bought this collector's edition because I have a real thing like collectible statues. It comes with came with the power loader, gripping the Queen Aliens. Pretty cool. Anyway, if you can find a good deal on it, about $30, it's worth it. I mean,
Yeah, I'd wait. Metacritic's got it at like 4.5. It'll be down to nothing in no time.
Yeah, but how are you going to get that statue?
Buy it on eBay.
Actually, you know what, dude? It's funny about those collector's editions. Sometimes if you go to Best Buy or Walmart, they'll have bought too many and
Yeah.
it won't sell.
Yeah, they'll put them
I
out
saw
cheap.
BioShock. I mean, I know BioShock 2 is not that great a game, but the collector's edition with the vinyl and the posters and all that crap was like $20 at Walmart.
yeah. I
mean, that's cheap.
The Halo Reach collector's thing comes with a little statue of all the characters.
Yeah.
That was like what, $200 something when it first released.
Probably.
I can't
something
remember,
like
but Best Buy had too many of them. They dropped the price down to $39.99. It's like, well, the game by itself was still $59. Like, okay, that's a cool deal.
Yeah, that's I don't know. You just gotta look for deals.
Yeah, it's funny at Best Buy because like when they had Command and Conquer, like it was like a Red Alert 3. They had the collector's edition. It was normally $50, and then I went there after Christmas and I got that thing for $20. I was just freaking out. I mean, it's in the nice steel package, like steel book, and had all the bonuses and everything with it. mean, it's amazing what they'll put on sale just out of nowhere.
That brings up a point too. What we do, at least for each other, we'll find deals and things all like that all the time. We'll share them. So what we're gonna do is start trying to, like, if we come across a deal, we'll try to share that on the show. Like if you can go to a website and get a really good deal on a game or a movie or whatever, we'll try to start sharing those on the show.
Well, the problem is but some people that listen to previous shows will probably miss out on those deals.
They could. Therefore, what we could do is do it on Twitter and Facebook so that people can get them instantaneously.
There you go.
Perfect. I love it when we come together as a team and come up with these plans. You're brilliant. All right, Eric Kretschmar, what you doing?
Currently, as in right now, I have found an English ROM for Dragon Quest VI.
That you're playing on your legitimate console.
Not even remotely. Yep.
Wait, what game is it?
Dragon Quest VI for the Super NES was not actually released in America, so I don't actually care that I had to find an illegal ROM for it.
Those games are super, dude.
That's Eric Kretschmar at 123 Jones Street.
Is that 123 jail?
Hey, if they'd have let me pay for it in English, I'd have paid money for it, but it was never an option.
So was it dubbed over by just a fan?
Yeah, fan translation. I mean, every once in a while.
Does he do the voices and he's like, "I love you," or is it like
it's a Super
NES?
One day we're gonna have Brian come on the show and just be a Japanese guy.
A roll. One of these days we're gonna have a Japanese guy lynch him, I think.
Losing listeners right now.
Call the embassy.
I had this whole thing ready for last week's podcast where I was gonna be like, Corey was gonna be like, "Oh, you were gone last week because you were in Oklahoma," and I was gonna go, "Well, yeah, but somebody recognized me in Oklahoma. I was at a restaurant." So he goes, "Wait a minute, I know that voice. It's VG News." I totally forgot. That would have been awesome though.
Well, we do have 7 downloads in Venezuela, so it's all good.
So the next time in Venezuela.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll really come up.
All right, so Patrick Sykes, what you up to, man?
Watched the newest episode of Face Off. Who are my devotees on here who watch this show, man?
Awesome.
That was
last competition with the Giants, man, was
God,
so awesome.
Unbelievable what those two guys pulled off. And how long did they have? Like 3 days to do that?
Yes. Oh, man, it's so good.
And it was even like bigger than they originally planned. I mean, here's the spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched this thing. They're supposed to be inspired by the new Jack the Giant Slayer film by Bryan Singer, who was a guest judge on the show. And the makeup artists get models who are like 6'4", 6'6", real tall, buff. They're gonna be the Giants and stuff. These two guys, I can't remember his name. What's his name, Brian? He's like buzzed half of his hair and it's black.
Oh, Eric. It's Eric Z or Eric K. His name's Eric though.
Yeah,
it's Eric F. Eric Z is the guy with glasses.
I thought this guy was going to be a total turd, and man, don't let him fool you because he can live up to the hype and then some. He came up with the brilliant idea of making the actor the victim of two giants that they actually make heads and arms and everything and mount on this guy's shoulders, and they plant this guy in the middle trying to get away, and the giants look like they're holding him, and he's operating all the puppet stuff for like the hand trying to stab the giant so he can let him go and everything, and it was unfrickin' believable, man. I mean, I just could not imagine getting all that work done in 3 days' time. That was.
It's funny. Like, I don't know if you and your wife that has the same name as my wife, when you guys watch it, you do what we do because it's hilarious. Because these guys are doing this work and molding and pouring latex stuff that I couldn't even dream to understand, and we're sitting back on the couch going, "Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, why are they acting like it's so hard?"
Oh man, no, we're just sitting there, just going like, "Oh man, come on!" We're just like, "Get it done." We just couldn't wait for what's her face to get kicked off, or for
I know she kept whining about her hand. Yeah,
like come on, you should have get kicked off 2 challenges ago for Pete's sakes. Jenna was her name, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Jenna.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for her, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, look, you're 39 and you can't do this. Maybe you should be doing something else.
Maybe you should for makeup. And then, oh wait, hey judges, maybe we shouldn't keep her on when she says that she's incapable of doing this.
Yeah, and she did it for 2 challenges straight. She complained about that, and they knew that for 2 challenges.
It's ridiculous.
The next one needs to go is Autumn.
Oh
Yeah, I agree, dude.
I can't stand her attitude, man. If it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for dude who's won like 4 challenges in a row, resculpting her facial sculpt,
yeah,
they might have gone
Dude.
home.
And Anthony is amazing.
God,
like,
unbelievable, man.
okay, Eric F. and I don't remember the guy, but the one Eric F. did. I mean, it was really cool, and I probably would have said that should be the winner. But the paint job that Anthony did, oh my god, that like translucent mixture of greens and like other earth tones and stuff. It was, and the eyes on that thing were gorgeous.
And what about when they asked him, said, how long did it take you to paint that? And he's like, like 5-10 minutes.
5 minutes per eye.
Yeah.
Dude.
Couldn't believe it. I was like, you're kidding me, right? I mean, airbrushing on that thing and everything, I mean, that's unbelievable.
Being a mask collector for so long and knowing what people charge for stuff that's painted that well, 5 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, I've taken airbrushing class, and I mean, if you're sitting there airbrushing, I mean, you got to be a master and a steady hand to brush that stuff that fast.
Dude, I can't even take a dump in 5 minutes.
God bless you, sir.
It's just, dude. That was a really cool episode. But I think when Susan and I watch the show, we don't so much critique the work they do as much as like, man, this dude has such a sucky attitude. We wish he would leave, you know. like Autumn's always like, yeah, I was making this thing and I got this freaking earring in my cheek and nah. You know, and I'm like, dude, God.
Did you hear what she said when she got paired with Anthony? She was like, oh, sweet. She's like, nah, I can do all this work and, you know, and I'm pretty much guaranteed to get on the next week. And then or I don't have to do that much work and I'm guaranteed. And then the other thing she said at the end was, oh, they're going to praise our creation and then give Anthony most of the credit. And I was like, come on.
He went back behind her and re-sculpted that facial sculpt for the facial makeup. And she's like, I hope he doesn't get all the credit for it. I'm like, he will because he's done all the work.
All she did was take up oxygen in space now.
Trying to look like Betty Page.
I know.
Yeah, failing miserably.
If I was on Anthony's team, I'd just go, all right, man, I'm going to go get lunch. Have fun.
All right. I'm going to move along. Brian, what you up to?
I'm just going to say real quick, I forgot to say on VG News that Arrow got renewed for another season. And a lot of people are saying this last episode is the best episode yet. Don't tell me, I haven't watched it. And the IT girl that plays Felicity is going to be a series regular, season 2. Supernatural got renewed for season 9, and it's rumored to have 10 seasons just like Smallville and Vampire Diaries, but who gives a flip? And
all the girls listening.
So I'll just save some time, and I'll just say I'm into the first 2 shows, and, you know, just the usual. Pass on.
Well, now let's get Arrow's got renewed for another season. You know what I got to do now? Catch up.
Yeah.
Got to catch up.
Yeah.
And Nikki's on it, man. Nikki's watching it, dude.
It's awesome.
So she'll get me there.
You just made me think of something too. You know that show on NBC? It literally just came out called Do No Harm.
Mm-mm.
No.
I think 2 episodes actually aired. The show's already been canned.
Ouch.
Well, dude, a major network, I mean, CW has the ability to kind of play with it a little bit, and they don't have to have as much of an audience, but like ABC, NBC, if it's not like booming ratings, it's out.
See, the crazy thing about that, though, is if you trace back histories of shows like Seinfeld that started, and, you know, they started with a real limited run, like the first season of Seinfeld, the first order for their first season was 4 episodes. Yeah. And even then, they weren't pulling down really high ratings. It was the execs who had faith in the show, and it didn't really start to take off until about, I think, the 3rd or 4th season, about 92 or so, or when they did the puffy shirt and they did the contest. Episodes like that were really propelling them into the water cooler status of shows the day after. I mean, they gave it a chance to grow, and networks, like you said, they don't give chances for shows to grow anymore. They've got to hit the ground, take off like the Flash, and leave a trail in their wake, or otherwise they're just going to get canned.
Corey, you got me to look up stats for that show, Do No Harm. You know, it scored the lowest out of any TV series to the debut on the 4 major networks.
Ow.
So have you seen it, Corey? Is it bad?
I saw the trailer for it, and I was completely disinterested. Do you guys know what it's about?
It's like a Jekyll and Hyde inspired series is all.
Exactly. But it's like ridiculous. It's a doctor who, like, at 8:45 every evening, like, flips out and turns into this, like, party man and goes out and just parties and like slams back liquor and does wild things. And then at 8:45 in the morning or whatever, he turns back to the doctor.
Who wants to watch
And he's
that?
just like,
Jekyll
apparently
Hydra buff.
nobody.
3.1 million people.
Wow,
That's nothing.
I bet
Yeah.
someone lost their job over that.
That's how many people I had over at my house last week.
that does happen all the time. I heard about some show with that. What's that comedian that's not funny? Dane Cook.
Oh, come on.
That guy's not funny, man. I'm sorry.
He's not funny, dude.
He's funny the way he tells his jokes. I mean, if you've ever tried to tell a Dane Cook joke back, you sound like the biggest idiot on the planet, and everybody's like, "That's not even funny."
Well,
but it's just like the way he does it's pretty funny.
He never tells them the same either. There's always like something different every time he tells them.
Well, apparently, he was going to have an NBC show, and I guess they had wanted to do a pilot, and they just like wrote. I guess the script got written or something, and then they just like canceled it like the day before they were going to shoot or something like that because it was just they were like, this is not going to work.
Anything like Superman Lives, then they're completely in their right mind.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is the man.
Oh, God, man.
Patrick, have a little faith, man.
Hey, man,
Michael Keaton, you probably laughed at the idea when it first got introduced. I can't even say it. I'm done.
Okay, you're starting. You get started here.
All right, we got to move on. Andy Hickson, what you up to, man?
The only thing I've been waiting on is Gears of War Judgment, man.
Yeah, good.
I got to get my
It's gonna be
fix, but I'm
awesome,
so
dude.
afraid it's going to be like Bulletstorm or something. It's going to break my dreams, and I'm going to cry.
Bulletstorm was horrible. Had the little whips. Kretschmar, you remember that game?
Remember, it came out like
Bulletstorm.
it came out like 2 years ago.
I remember it. I didn't play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the one where you play as Baird and.
You play as a character like Baird.
Oh,
Then you
I
have
think
a whip.
Bulletstorm.
Yeah.
No. Bulletstorm, I know. People were telling me it was so cool because you, like, shoot a guy in the balls or something and then curb stomp him. It's just weird stuff. Like I was like, that doesn't make it a good game.
It sold most of its copies off the Gears of War beta.
Yeah, like most people bought it because it came with a Gears of War beta, and it had this weapon of a whip. And like I keep saying that, but it was ridiculous. The guy could be 200 feet away, and you just crack your whip, and it would grab him by the leg and like pull him, and you just shoot him in midair. And every time you pull him in midair, they would be like in slow motion. They'd be like, "Oh!" You just shoot them, and it was just like the weirdest concept that just, in my opinion, didn't work.
That sounds like the best game ever with no challenge.
It really was no challenge.
That sounds horrible. All right. So, anything else, Andy?
Nah, man, I'm just waiting for Gears. That's it. For my hopes to be broken.
Oh man.
What else you got on tonight's show, Corey? Part 1.
Well, what I have been doing, getting ready to go on a boat for a while. And,
Is it a carnival?
It's carnival. It's not gonna get stranded, so shut up. I know everybody's heard about the freaking Carnival cruise liner. They got stuck, and there's like 5 toilets on board for like 5,000 passengers. I'll tell you people right now, I will hang my big old hairy butt over the side and just drop trow, dude. I don't even care.
Yeah, post it to our Facebook page. We do that.
Yes.
There you
It'll be
go.
Vitamin Geek pooping on the high side.
Yep.
What else? I've been
It's
reading.
literally the poop deck then. What?
Oh, swab the. Oh, dude, I wasn't even going to go there.
I was trying to come up with a butt pirate joke, but it just wasn't coming together.
I hope a pirate doesn't come up behind me.
All right, what you doing, Corey?
Let's see, what else? I've been reading more of the Thrawn trilogy. I still haven't finished it. Let's see. I have been actually Brad, our friend that's not here right now, has kind of gotten. Me and Brad have this affinity for like cheap, crappy action figures.
I've noticed.
Like we like the smaller action figures that are inexpensive. We went crazy over these little buildable figurines that you get out of the quarter machine. They look like South Park versions of Batman and Robin and Joker.
Yeah, you disliked me just rearranging all their heads, though.
Yeah, well, Superman's head on Flash's body is really weird looking. Or actually, no, that's not as weird. The
Looks
opposite.
like
is-
Shazam that way.
Oh, you're right. Well, okay, Flash's head on Superman's body is strange. How about that?
Oh, okay.
But these other figurines he got me into, they cost 97 cents at Walmart.
And he
Or
spent
the drug
$50
Walgreens.
getting them all.
Well, you can get them at Walgreens. I got some at Walmart today. What are they called? Zorbos?
Yeah. And
I don't know. I
painted
kept
horribly.
up on my quarter vending machines. Here.
They're not even worth a quarter.
The paint job is like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
They're 1-inch figurines. They're painted by like toddlers in Ethiopia or maybe Venezuela. Maybe our listeners in Venezuela could free these children and get some real painters. But I mean, they're 97 cents. They picked some cool characters to put in there. There's 2 Superman, 2 Batman, and there's a Superman in a black suit, which I think is Man of Tomorrow.
Well, the black suit's when he comes back from the dead.
Yeah, but wasn't he called Man of Tomorrow or something?
Way back in there, like back in the Golden Age.
Well, what did they call the Superman when he came back, though? They didn't just say, "Hey, Superman."
Yeah,
or this
they
black
did.
thing.
And they called him Kal-El a lot.
Okay, so we'll just call him Black Superman. But they're neat. They're 1-inch figurines. They come in a little ball, which is about the size of a ping pong ball. I guess you could keep that for beer pong if you like that kind of thing. But I'm gonna keep buying them, trading them with Brad. They're kind of neat.
Cool.
And I bought. I don't know if does anybody have any geeky Valentine's Day stories?
Well, I'm sitting alone doing a podcast playing video games on Valentine's Day. I don't know how much geekier you want here.
Okay, I'm going to tell my little geeky Valentine's Day story then. It's short, don't worry. So
that's what she said.
Hardy har. So my wife and I are about to go on a cruise.
Oh, no way. Carnival?
Carnival. And so today is Valentine's Day, and if anybody knows, I mean, if you've ever had a girlfriend or have a girlfriend, wife, whatever, you know that you just don't go through Valentine's Day without at least getting her something. So, you know, my plan was not to get her anything.
Like for real, or are you just playing us too?
No, for real.
Corey's a master of
Oh, so you wanted to commit suicide.
I didn't want to. At least not by my own hand, I guess.
You should have bought her a bunch of those figures.
I'm getting there, buddy. So here's what I did. I had to go get some Dramamine because I don't know if I'm gonna get sick on the boat or not. And
it's a
so I went
cruise
to
ship.
Dude, I don't know.
All right, go on.
If you're not,
just let me tell the story. So okay,
got me intrigued.
So I was gonna go to Walmart to get the Dramamine, and I decided I needed flip flops because I'm going on a boat, man. It's going fast, man. So
flip flops. Yeah, I know.
So I went to Old Navy to get flip flops, but you can get 2 pairs of flip flops for $5 at Old Navy. What a bargain! And they also have Justice League lunch boxes for $10. Shout out. So I went there, got my flip flops, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to Walmart, and you know, while I'm there, I'll maybe find her something, right? So I go in, I get my Dramamine, I walk around a little bit. I go to toys because the Walmart, the closest to my house, has a crappy toy section. The one, you know, up towards the mall has a really cool toy section. So I was like, I'm gonna find those Zorbos or whatever while I'm there.
And this is when you're looking for something for your wife? You're gonna get her Zorbos?
Is this the story of how you got divorced? I mean,
no, okay, I'm getting there. So I'm in that aisle.
It sounds like it.
Oh, no, I'm in the aisle with the Zorbos, and there happens to be Star Wars stuff there too. So I grab like 5 Zorbos. I'm like, I'm gonna get 5 of these, and then I look over and I see these little stuffed plush Yodas. And it's like it talks or whatever, and I'm trying to push this Yoda, and he's doing nothing. So then I finally just throw him down, and he goes, "A Jedi, you must be." And I'm like, "That's so cool!"
Now we have to
and
pay Lucas. Go ahead.
All right. So I get the Yoda. It's actually on clearance for $7. I'm like, yay! And while I'm there, I grab myself like a 10-inch clone trooper figurine, whatever. You know, give and receive. So I get the Yoda. I'm walking up front. I got my Zorbos, my Yoda, my figurine of the clone trooper. Of course, I don't have a buggy because I never grab one. I'm always like walking around like a goofy Gomer Pyle hold my stuff to my chest. So then I see that they have flowers and crap up front. I'm like, flowers would be good. So I get 3 pink roses and a card, and get in line, check out, come home. And then I'm trying to figure out a cool way to display the gift, because I think that's, a big part of it. So I fill out the card or whatever, and I notice that the Yoda is holding his hands, like crossing his hands over his belly. And I'm like, by chance, did they not sew this dude's arms all to his, midsection? And they didn't. So I cut the rose stems in half.
You said this was a short story.
I'm going into detail, man. It's all good. Anyway, so cut the stems in half, put the stems down in Yoda's arms. So it's like Yoda's standing there holding these roses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the card and stuff. She got home and she didn't expect anything. She's like, oh, awesome. And then she goes instantly, I didn't get you anything. And I was like, see that clone trooper? You got me something.
So she goes, oh, thanks, Corey. I kind of like Star Wars. Oh, I see this was on clearance. You're so thoughtful.
She didn't know it was on clearance till I told her.
She's going to listen to the podcast,
She knows it's on clearance now.
You went to Walmart to buy a Valentine's gift and ended up buying her a stuffed toy for $7 on clearance and a rose, and you got 5 Zorbos and the clone trooper.
Yeah,
that just shows how much of a true geek Corey is.
It's cool, man.
It is cute. When you see the picture, it's cute.
There's a picture on Facebook. I'll put it on our Facebook page and Twitter if anybody wants to see it. And that I am a romantic, a geek hearts.
Let me warn you, I can't, go to bed if my heart's melting. Because all the love.
Well, we're gonna put the fire extinguisher on that sucker here in a minute.
All right.
Patrick, there's no previews for this week?
Not this week, no sir.
Do you want to say just a quick thing about any of the Batman stuff coming out?
Just make sure to look for it around summertime is where they're looking to release that. And if you guys ever want to keep up with anything that NEC is putting out, I'm sure you're probably aware they've got a website for that. But keep tuned to the Bat Blog. It is a really good place for all kinds of news Batman related for any huge Batman fans like myself. That has been one big treasure trove of a website. It is amazing what they find and post on there. Like some of those stories we've had in the past, like when Brian was talking about the original Batmobile selling for what was it, $4.6 million? They had it on that website, man, and that's one of the really big ones to watch out for.
Also, Toy Fair 2013 is going on right now, so I'm sure Patrick will get some updates.
Oh, I'll get plenty of those.
Yeah, he was showing me some neat stuff at work earlier today.
Cool.
All right, cool. So, guys, we are going to take a little break here and come back to you with some lists of our top 3 retro games and our 3 most frustrating moments in retro gaming history. So stick with us. We'll be back here in a little bit.
Are you gonna say this is the end of part 1, or are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm stepping away for a few minutes.
Too.
Yeah, if anybody needs to go piss or
I may be off. I'll let you know. Give Andy the list. He might not have it.
I gave it to him already.
Okay, cool. All right.
I emailed it to him from the Gyno.
What?
We were at the Gyno earlier, dude.
Not really sure if that's a racial slur or.
Why didn't you put that on the podcast?
All right, cool. All right. Cool.
What time is it, anyways? Some of us got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
9:38.
Wrap it up for me, Chris.
All right.
Did Brian leave?
What is he doing?
I heard a door shut. I was like, he's gone.
Maybe.
He's gone, but I don't know what he was like. He just kept going, yeah, hey, and then he said something to Kretschmar and
he told me to wrap it up for him.
His wife's probably mad at him, man.
Why?
It's Valentine's Day.
Dude, there's a weekend coming up.
A weekend is not Valentine's Day. Dude, I'm single, and I know this shit.
My wife's not even in the same city right now.
It's
you can
not a real holiday, people.
You can fuck, maybe one time on Valentine's Day. You can fuck all weekend.
Or you could fuck on Valentine's Day and all weekend.
Well, some of us don't have that kind of stamina, motherfucker.
I make pills for that.
Yeah, sheesh, Corey.
And
I'm still a young person.
Always love you,
Simba.
You know what I sent my wife for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I love you. We're on break. What do you say to your wife on Valentine's Day?
I sent her Louis the Lookout.
Louis the Lookout.
The Lookout's mascot.
Okay. Why?
She works at elementary school, So the kids went insane.
Wait a minute, what? Oh, you sent the fucker in the costume?
Yeah.
Why the fuck didn't you tell the story?
It's not.
I was the only one with the fucking story? Come on, man. You sent Louis the fucking lookout?
I think it overshadowed yours just a little bit.
Shit,
You went
yeah,
to Walmart,
dude.
went on a clearance, and he said,
Oh, they're making fun of the clearance Yoda. I mean, it's a pretty badass little Yoda. Right?
I looked at the picture. That's a pretty sweet setup that you made.
It was only down by $2.99, man. I mean, it wasn't like super cheap.
That could be the next question on Twitter. Who do you think won in the Valentine's debate, Louis the Lookout or the Yoda for $7?
Yoda's
No,
gonna win because this is a geek podcast.
Okay, so you went looking for a gift for your wife, and you came back with some action figures and a flat. It's like, yeah, it's the geeky Valentine's Day. Brian bounced.
Yeah, Brian's out of here.
Yeah, apparently Nikki's mad at him.
That's my guess. I'll ask him tomorrow.
We're done with part 1. We're going to do part 2 here in a few minutes.
Man, what the hell's part 2?
Lists.
Oh, lordy.
Part 2 is where we actually talk about retro games.
People are gonna be like, "You didn't even say anything about retro games."
Hey, are you gonna put another shout out we got in this one?
Oh yeah.
He's not even on my phone.
Told Nikki about the shout out for her little recommendation for a game. She's just cracking up.
I'm gonna find your wife on Twitter.
I'm
just kidding.
I had a good pun I was gonna throw in there, but I totally forgot to say it. When they said it's look, Connection to the Past, I was like, would you say it's a link to the past?
Didn't they make that on Game Boy Pocket too?
A Link to the Past or Paperboy?
A Link to the Past.
I want to say they did. I'm not sure though.
'Cause I remember I never played it on Super Nintendo, but I remember playing it on.
There was a really good one on the Game Boy. What was that damn thing's name?
Tetris.
I remember Link to the Past. I had the hardest time fishing.
Fishing?
I think if it's the right Zelda, what I'm thinking about.
No, it's Ocarina of Time.
Oh, you got it. That's it.
I'm gonna be so broke this summer.
What is it?
Hey, I meant to say this earlier.
All
Y'all
the
know
Batman
this,
stuff.
Oh, have y'all seen these action figures they've got? This paperwork's going out. They're like, it's a little figure, and you put it on a little like some kind of plate. It activates. It's like a video game that tied to the action figures.
No,
it's called Sky something.
Cool.
Oh, Skylanders.
Yeah.
What about it?
Anyway, I've seen that FYE. They have a like Justice League. They got superhero ones. They got one for all the Batman characters, like the new Batman and Bane, Superman, Green Lantern.
It's kind of like Pocket Pets, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Neat.
And you buy these figures, and they have little I can't remember what's inside. It's a little chip inside them, and you set them on this little pedestal, and you can level up your characters and play it. It's pretty cool. I haven't messed with it. I don't know how exactly it all works, but
It struck me like Pokemon, only I'm buying actual shit.
yeah, pretty much. Paying $12 for 2 little figures.
Yeah.
What about Pokemon Snap?
Oh.
I remember that game for the
It
64.
came on N64, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not as big as geeks as you guys.
These guys are the gaming masters. I'm not as big a gaming geek as these guys are.
Well, see, I'm not huge into comic books and stuff.
It's all geeks are the same. I don't classify geeks.
Cool.
I classify
You
Carol
can
as
be a movie geek. You can be a book, video game, whatever you want, man. A geek is a geek. And trust me, we know when you're posing.
Can smell their fear.
Something I was gonna say earlier. Shit, I forgot what it was. Oh
What the hell
well.
happened to Corey?
That's the dog
Probably-
goes again.
Yeah, he had to go find the dog.
I did let that dog then.
That little Yoda toy hunted him down. That little Yoda toy hunted him down.
She's throwing Yoda at him.
Yeah.
Take your $7.
I got my wife a big dozen bouquet of flowers yesterday. I'm golden. And she's not a flower person either.
Oh, you missed.
Story.
You missed it, Patrick.
What's up, man?
I was telling Corey I sent Louis the mascot for the Lookouts to my wife.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, man. Well, Turnabout's Fair Play. Les Mis is coming out on Blu-ray end of March. So, be getting her that.
Sounds like something I'm not buying.
She loves it.
Have you seen the YouTube video they've done of I forget Anne Hathaway It's a parody, but it's saying like it's the song is converted over why she won an Oscar.
Yeah. God. You see, they're like circulating more gay rumors about Jackman again, and now it's like his wife has spoken out saying the tabloid rags don't bother her, but this kind of thing really does like get on her nerves. Yeah, it was all over Yahoo today.
I know there's this picture floating around of him standing in the gym. It's like the X-Men train together. And somebody circled his legs and said apparently Wolverine never goes on leg day or something like that.
I've seen him how buff he got for Wolverine, man. I mean, he's not kidding around. He had like what 5% body fat or something. He's like the most ripped he's ever been since X2.
This picture shows him with shorts on. He's got his little bony legs. It looks hilarious.
Dude, he's like a million times buffer now, though.
I just love when they ask him, like, what do you do? Like, when all this training's over, what's the deal? He says, oh, man, I love to eat. I just sit there, just eat all day. He says, weren't for the movie or I had to train for, I'd be eating my head off, man.
He would take on the role of the Blob.
Yeah. Need to get Skyfall, too.
That was a good one. I enjoyed that movie.
That was just awesome.
Y'all see the movie Iron Fist? I'm saying the title wrong. Hang on. I'll get it real quick. Yeah, that's it. It's the man with the Iron Fist. The one that's introduced by Quentin Tarantino. Really?
It's a RZA.
Yeah.
RZA from Wu-Tang.
If you're a fan of either of those names, you'll enjoy this movie.
I never did go see the Django or wherever that was.
It was so good.
Didn't see that either.
The D is silent.
It was really good. And I'm not even a Quentin Tarantino fan.
That's his first movie he's done in a while. That's actually from him, isn't it?
That he's directed, yeah.
And for a while, he was just like, Quentin Tarantino found this film. Watch it. That noise crapping me, man.
Corey, what was that t-shirt website you were talking about earlier?
Fright Rags?
I was looking at it, and I think I'm going to buy the Maximum Overdrive shirt they have.
Cool.
Dude, that's a great shirt. Eric got a Maximum Overdrive shirt at that con.
Yeah, it's the...
Who made that?
I gotta find their card. I was trying to find their website. I want to say Atomic
Wallace
Tees.
says to add him back.
Oh. Oh, did
you know that? Wasn't that... what is that guy's name? Shit, I can't remember.
He can't get that deep. He's too tall. He was too short. If it gets real deep, you'll drown.
Hello, everyone. It's Norman Reedus. You may remember me from The Walking Dead. Thanks for listening to Vitamin Geek.
That'll be $50.
That sounds so real.
Well, thank you. Now buy an autograph or get out.
Just one thing, Norman. You sound a lot shorter. You sound a lot shorter on Skype than you do on the show.
I've been smoking a lot of cigarettes.
What are you looking at, butthead? It's plugged in the wall. My side of the bed.
At least I have chicken.
Team Lover come.
Alright, you finish your break?
Y'all ready?
Little
I got a joke for
tortilla
you.
boy.
I have a joke.
Do you have a joke that's...
It's not
should be
it's not
recorded, or-
clean, so you don't want to post it on the real one.
Oh, well, go ahead. Fucking say it.
Why does Helen Keller masturbate with one hand? So she can moan with the other.
Oh, God.
Hey, honey. Want to hear a joke?
He's going to tell five.
It's great.
Come here. I gotta test this on the female demographic.
I said that to my wife the other day, and she goes, "That's so bad, but so good."
Hey, you want to hear a joke? Why does Helen Keller masturbate with one hand?
Oh, God, here we go.
So she can moan with the other.
Alright, start the show.
I tell you, I have the
That's a
worst,
list of sounds like
Showtime.
around here.
I have the worst nightmares when it's over.
laughing. I heard no laughter coming from upstairs.
Just entertaining as Helen Keller reading a basketball.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna Google Helen Keller jokes.
We're gonna have a whole episode devoted to Helen Keller jokes.
There's a website, Jokes for Us, with one-liner Helen Keller.
If you can't hear our jokes, people, please just touch our screen.
If you'd like to file a complaint, then go fuck yourself.
Keep one hand
Just
free.
go ahead and send your tweet at your mama's.
If Helen Keller fell out of the woods, would she make a sound?
I do a really good Helen Keller impression. You want to hear it? Oh my god. Okay. Let me finish this piece of candy and we'll get started.
Are you on the porch eating Werther's originals?
Hershey's Bliss.
This is a bad one, guys. Who's the smartest man in the world? The guy who raped Helen Keller and then cut her hands off so she couldn't scream.
Oh,
that's awful.
That's fucking terrible, bro. Holy shit, we're all going to hell for laughing. Except Kretschmar, I think he muted his shit. Either that or he's immune to Helen Keller.
Drop dead.
He's probably playing
Coughing to death.
Dragon Quest some more or something.
Yep. It's good shit.
Alright, y'all about ready?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll call it 126.
Whoa.
I want to call it something else. How about Steve?
Alright, we'll...
Invasion of the Body Snatchers on Blu-ray.
Hey, you know, it's my question. Are you going to play one more shout-outs this episode, too?
Yeah. Alright, guys, we are back. We are here on Vitamin Geek with our lists of the top 3 favorite retro games from each of our members on the show today. We're going to start out with Eric Williams giving us his 3rd place retro game.
3rd place. Mine is actually Battletoads.
Oh, yeah.
1991.
That stupid level where they're, like, riding in the... on the little skateboards or whatever they are.
Yeah. It's kind of a rip-off of Ninja Turtles, but...
I just mean because it was so hard.
Dude, that game was really hard. Yeah. And it was weird, too, because, like, whenever you would punch or what... Like, one of them punched, one of them kicked, and one of them... I don't know what the other one did. Anyway, like...
Probably died a lot.
They all died a lot.
And they released a sequel. The original was 1991, but 94 they released Super Battletoads. It was even harder. That's one game I never could finish.
Now, I had Battletoads and Double Dragons, and I never actually successfully beat that. I think with a save state and an emulator, I managed to get to the final area. I think.
It was originally created just to rival Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, it's one of the few games I like to see come back to reinvent.
I thought they did. I thought it was on Xbox Live. They put something out.
No, last thing was 94 Super Battletoads.
Super Battletoads. All right, cool. Kretschmar, what's your 3rd place retro game?
Let's see here. I think I'll go with... Yeah, I like A Link to the Past.
Excellent choice. Tell us why you like A Link to the Past.
Well, Legend of Zelda, one of the best ones, personally. I mean, I've still, every once in a while, break it out and play through it. Probably one of the first games where I ever decided to just sit down and do everything and find everything there is to find in that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of little cool Easter eggs. And, like, messing with the chickens is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, man. Good choice. Patrick Sykes, number 3.
Narc.
Whoa!
For the NES.
Okay, there's another game I found incredibly difficult as a child. Tell us about Narc.
Man, I loved getting the RPG and blowing the crap out of everything. I swear, you get a whole bunch of enemies going down the street, you get that RPG, they'd just be body parts flying all over the place.
I don't think I ever got it, man. I just got killed a lot.
Shoot, that game was just so much fun to play in the arcade, and of course when they put it on NES, that just made it even better because you just played at home as much as you wanted.
For free?
Yep.
Awesome, man. Alright, cool. Brian Wallace, number 3.
Yeah, it's probably too new, but you said PS1, right?
Older than PS1, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say Resident Evil 2, but...
Well, that was... Wait...
Because that's PS1.
It's on N64 though.
That was on PS1.
Yeah.
But it has a port for N64 though, and N64 came out before the PS1, right?
Nope.
No, it's after.
It was like
Was it?
96 or 7 when N64 came out.
They were the same
Alright.
generation, really.
All right, so pick something a generation before that, at least.
Something a generation before that.
Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, arcade. I'd say we could go just about
Okay.
any arcade game we could think of.
I really liked Alien vs Predator. I thought it was really
for
cool.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
The beat 'em up. That game
I
was
believe
awesome.
so. Unless it was on Sega Saturn, it was something. It was really cool. I remember playing it a lot. It was
I
arcade.
know it was on Super Nintendo and arcade. It may have had a Genesis port too. It was Capcom made it.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I just liked it because I like 2D side scrollers with lots of action, and I don't know. I just really like 2D side scrollers.
So okay, tell me this: who was your favorite character to play as in that game?
Wow, that's a great choice.
Hello,
And
Brian, are you still with us?
huh? You hear me?
No, dude, you went completely mute for a while.
Oh, I did. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I actually don't remember the character names. I just
Well,
remember the game.
not that you don't have to remember the name, but I mean, there was a female colonial marine, a male, and then there was 2 different versions of the Predator. One of them had like a spear, like a
I like
longer
being the
spear.
Predator more than I did the human.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, cool. Andy, what's your third place, dude?
Well, my third place one is River City Ransom.
Yep.
Oh,
Solid.
excellent choice.
Definitely starting out there. I mean, it's one of the first great multiplayer ones that you could have.
What was aside from multiplayer, what was your favorite part of the game? Or like your favorite aspect of the game, not exactly a part.
Well, I mean, it's really hard to put down the one favorite one on that one. I remember I spent a whole night playing it and trying to beat it here recently.
I will sit down with you and play through that game from start to finish anytime you want.
As long as you don't punch me, I'm okay with that.
I would never.
And don't throw sticks at me because that's the part I hate.
Nah, dude, I got your back. All right, my third place game. I feel like it's one of the more underrated games of all time, but I think it was really inventive. Unlike
Force Adventure, right?
No, dude, that was number 4. It was an honorable mention. But for the Super Nintendo, the game is called ActRaiser.
Dude, yeah, ActRaiser was awesome.
Yes, I agree. ActRaiser combined SimCity with like a side-scrolling, not beat 'em up, but like
Well, you're thinking like Castlevania, dude, if I remember.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like part Castlevania and then part SimCity, because you basically start out as you're an angel, right? Like a cherub.
Yeah.
And you go down and you basically clear an area of demons and stuff by shooting them with something, right? And then you build your city, and then you get to go down into the city and turn into this guy and go side-scrolling and fight. So you get these like pauses. It's not just constantly beating people up. And you level up and you ultimately prevail over evil. Spoiler alert. It's just an awesome game. Like I think actually I've beaten the game 3 or 4 times, and one time I literally just sat there at a friend's computer on a emulator and just played through the whole thing in one sitting. It's a really cool game, so definitely check it out. Super Nintendo ActRaiser. The sequel was not as good. I think it was pretty much all hack and slash.
It was
side scrolling. They took what made the game so awesome. They took the dynamic away, which is a really stupid move. Cool. We are back around to Eric Williams for number 2.
Number 2, y'all. I know you're gonna remember this one, Corey. It's Killer Instinct.
Yeah. Played many a fun match with you in that game.
That's probably one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I mean, I originally played that game in the arcade, so then it got ported to the consoles.
Do you remember where we last played that game, Eric?
I believe it was in Saudi Daisy at Brandon Sapp's house.
Oh, B-Sap alert! Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, boost up. Okay.
TV.
We did. I love we're such a new show and we already have inside jokes. I hope that everybody out there gets a kick out of them.
Brian, don't be surprised. He comes up behind us tomorrow and he starts just throttling us behind the neck.
So we have a friend named Brandon Sapp. We call him B-Sap for short.
That means he has to listen to the podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does not like us bringing his name up on the show. But it's cool to bring up his girlfriend's name. She's a real nice girl.
Go to
Beth.
Corey Keelan's Facebook friends.
If you'd like to learn more about Brandon Sapp, you can inquire about him on our Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/Vitamin Geek Podcast.
Also known as the Fish Boy.
The fish, dude, best fish boy in history. My fish boy sucked compared to his. Just look at the Facebook page, people. The pictures are out there. They're fun. They're all there for you to see. Yeah, good choice, Eric. And might I say, combo breaker.
Combo breaker.
This game, if anything, was Killer Instinct is a pretty game. For the time, it was awesome. But the coolest thing I think about that game is the sound.
Yeah.
Like, that announcer is so freaking hype, man. The more hits you land the combo, he's just getting crazier sounding and crazier. And when you pull off a combo breaker and he does the combo breaker, there's like no bigger
Can
thrill.
I just ask if you think the announcer of that game is better than the NBA Jam announcer? He's on fire!
No.
Go
No one even holds a candle to the NBA Jam guy,
There's one thing you probably didn't know about that game. There's also the main storyline. It was adapted in a limited comic book series. You remember the brand?
NBA Jam?
No, Kill Instinct. Yeah,
okay.
Dude, I'd buy an NBA Jam comic. That'd be awesome.
But you remember Acclaim Comics? It's pretty old. They've been out of print for a while.
No, I don't remember.
They had a short-lived comic book series that was all devoted to the storyline of Killer Instinct.
Cool. Well, listeners, be on the lookout for Killer Instinct comic books. If you find those in Venezuela or, Australia, all, 14 of you, then that's cool.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, by the way.
We're not on a bash.
I keep bringing up the names of these countries because we just discovered, Monday or something, that we've actually been listened to in 7 different countries. And I just about came out of my seat when I found out. That's exciting to me because I don't know people in 7 countries. So somebody out there is just checking us out, for the first time and, hopefully liking what they're hearing. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Kretschmar, number 2.
My number 2 is Illusion of Gaia. Now, this game came out on the Super NES. It is the spiritual successor to Soul Blazer. It is it's an action RPG. You play as this young boy who goes basically in search for his explorer father. All the dungeons are all the ancient wonders of the world. It's just got this really awesome storyline that was kind of rare for its day. It was an action game, but it had a really, really in-depth plot.
Did that game have anything to do with Secret of Evermore?
No, that was an entirely different game. A good game, but very different.
I always got those two mixed up for some reason. In fact, I don't know if I even played Illusion of Gaia. I think I just played Secret of Evermore and assumed they were the same thing.
They're entirely different games.
Well, now I know. The more you know. Pa-ting!
You were probably getting the Secret of Evermore and the Secret of Mana mixed up, because they came out about the exact same time and were actually incredibly similar.
Now, Secret of Mana, I did play.
Yep, that one's also really good. Would be on this list, but I could be here all day talking about amazing Super NES games.
Yeah, Super Nintendo had some fantastic RPGs, dude. Who's playing Mario?
I am.
So we're so retro game crazy that we are playing games while on the podcast. Cool. Illusion of Gaia, check it out. Patrick Sykes, your deuce. Drop a deuce on us.
Most people, I don't know how many will remember this, but when I had the Atari and I had a ton of games for it, they had a Star Trek game for it where you could you could watch the ship go through the galaxy and stuff like that. It had to look out for asteroids, all kinds of stuff. You'd come across Klingons, have to blow up their ships before they blew you up. It was a fun game. I played that quite a bit.
Cool. I don't think I played that one.
That's what I'm saying. It was one of those that I just don't think a lot of people knew was out there because I didn't know many people that played that. But it was one of those games that I played to death.
Wasn't it just like a side scroller?
I think so. I can't remember.
Most of the things like kind of like Galactica, similar to that.
It's kind of, yeah, but you're kind of looking down on top of the ship, having to direct it around.
Huh. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Brian Wallace, what's your number 2?
Number 2, I'm sorry for all the side scrollers, is X-Men for Sega Genesis. I just played it so many times, loved it. I can't even put it into words how much I love that game. Like, I just think it's so cool. You could be Gambit, and you have your little stick and throw his cards, and you know, you got Wolverine, Cyclops, and who was the 4th character? You may remember. I don't even remember.
For the one on Genesis?
Yeah.
It's Gambit, Wolverine, Cyclops.
And who?
Beast.
Nightcrawler.
Right? Oh, was it Nightcrawler?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember now. So, yeah, it was awesome. And I thought the only thing I didn't like when I was a kid was when you used the power-up abilities like Storm or Rogue. I just thought it was kind of cheesy. But other than that, it was great. I didn't like X-Men 2 as much. You could be Psylocke and Beast, but whatever.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. X-Men for Genesis. Andy, what's your number 2, man?
My number 2 is kind of going against the one that we talked about earlier with Paperboy, but Paperboy 2. So most of the games I played were on Super Nintendo, considering I was like 5 when the PlayStation came out. So one of the best things about it is the additions it has, where you could like kind of jump the ramps, you can knock the old lady off her swing set.
Yeah, Super Paperboy was boss.
You what?
Super Paperboy was awesome.
Yeah. But it's just the additions they add, and then you go through the dirt track at the end to get extra points.
Hey, anybody remember when this is the worst sound in the world? Here it comes. No, I'm not alive. Anybody hear it?
We all heard it.
We all heard it, man.
Rivet.
All right, cool. So
hey,
Andy,
we're that geeky. We're playing while we're on the podcast.
Oh, Brian. So
you can cut that out if you want.
No, it's cool. They'll love it. My number 2, this should come as no surprise for anybody who knows me, is Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo.
Not Turbo?
Whoa.
No, just the World Warrior.
Not Street Fighter 2 Turbo Ultra Fighter 780 billionth edition?
I couldn't afford that one.
Ah, yeah, true.
That one's broke anyway.
So, okay, the game's good. I mean, period. It's a good fighting game. It's solid. It's a decent port of the arcade game. But the reason it's number 2 on my list is because I got my Super Nintendo for Christmas one year, and what my parents used to do is like they would wrap several gifts, and then they would leave some unwrapped, and those that were unwrapped were from Santa. Like, he didn't have time to wrap stuff; he just dumped it under the tree. So, whenever they got me a game system or something really big like that, they wouldn't even put it under the tree. They'd like hide it somewhere in the room, and then I was supposed to just like be opening all my gifts, and they just go, oh, "What is that?" And so I'm opening gifts or whatever the Christmas I got it, and I turn around and I see it on the other side of the couch, and I go, "Oh God, the Super Nintendo with Super Mario World," and maybe that's all it came with, but on top of it was this other game, Street Fighter 2, and the cool thing was this was like right after I discovered it in the arcade, and you know, a couple people taught me just like little basic moves of the game, because when you first started playing this thing when you were a kid, it was like really difficult to do those moves. Like, I couldn't do a Shoryuken to save my life. So I don't know. I have a real nostalgia for the game. I think it looked good on the system, and yeah, still one of my favorite games to this day. Cool. All right, Eric Williams, what tops your list?
You might remember Lethal Enforcers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great game. I had the gun and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that gun is known as the infamous Konami Justifier.
Oh, man. I had that on Sega CD.
Is that where one of the guns is pink and one's blue?
Yeah. In the arcade, It was blue and red. Yeah, they put this thing out, everything. It was originally in the arcade, then it was in the Sega Genesis and the Sega Mega Drive, that's the name of the console you was talking about earlier, Brian, with the double-decker CD and CD.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they even on Super NES, original P, and the PlayStation 1.
Oh, it was on the PlayStation.
Oh, man. I'm looking at the console, or like the big stand.
This one was on a
game there in
lot.
the arcade, and I mean, like, so, yeah, you get the orange and blue guns and everything. Yeah, I remember that thing.
It was also
I just want to say to the fans that this is how pumped this podcast gets me. I was playing Mario earlier, and now I'm turning on my PlayStation so I can see if I can find a ROM of Lethal Enforcers.
Yes, I mean you have to have the gun to play too. I mean it's more fun when you got the light gun too. But this was the first shooter that caused controversy because it allowed players all the entire environments and everything. It was digitized real photographs.
Right.
So it caused controversy because you was allowing people to shoot digitized photographs of actual people.
Yeah, you can go to arcade-museum.com and you can see pictures of the screen caps. You can see screen caps of it. Plus, they got a YouTube video of it too.
Is this the one where you would shoot people and they'd explode, or is that Area 51 or something?
Area 51.
Man, I can still hear it in my head, like, eat lead.
And after that, they had 2 sequels too. They had Lethal Weapons 2, the Gunfighter Edition, which they went to like the Western years. Walking Dead, they won the one side mission or the bonus mission where you're in a saloon, had to shoot bottles off the bar.
Man, I hope I can
still
find
a fun
this
game,
ROM.
man.
I'm like so excited. I'm gonna be up all night playing it.
We will see you tomorrow then.
All right, cool. Been a while since we heard from Eric Kretschmar. What's your number 1, buddy?
My number 1 is Earthbound, my absolute favorite Super NES game. I mean, this was basically it was an RPG, Mother 2 in Japan, so there's actually 3 of these series and only one of them made over here. It's great. You play as this basically a little kid who finds out he has psychic powers and goes on a journey to save the world. What was great was just the humor in this game. Like the strategy guide for this game had scratch and sniff cards for all the bosses. They all sound horrible. I used to have these, but
is that NES or Super NES?
Super NES. I mean, this
man.
is a full 40-hour RPG. I beat this game in one sitting once. This is how much I adore this game.
The game actually came with a scratch and sniff card.
The strategy guide for the game came with I can't speak. Scratch and sniff cards for all the bosses.
I don't mean to make fun of it. This cracks me up. It's like, man, did you beat that last boss? No, he was tough, man. He smells like ass too.
It's an incredibly silly game. Like you've got Master Belch, who's he's one of the bosses, and he's just this pile of puke.
Yeah, and if anybody needs a point of reference for this game, the character you play as is Ness from also from Smash Brothers. Right. And with Yo-Yo.
And Lucas, who's in the GameCube one, Melee, he's actually from 3, which I've played through and is an amazing game, but will never get released in America. All 3 of these games had too many pop culture references that they could never get the licensing to bring it overseas.
Interesting.
Cool, man. I'll have to check that out. I think I played it for a really quick moment, but I don't think I got very far in it. Seems like a good game, though. Everybody talks real highly of it. Patrick Sykes, what's your tippy top?
I don't know. I can't remember if they put this out for a console or not, but I just remember going to the arcade and playing the sit-down arcade version of Star Wars forever and ever and ever. I spent I don't know how many quarters worth of money at Edsell's Game Room on Brainerd Road playing that game, going into the Death Star. Those really primitive pixelation type of polygon type of graphics. Real primitive for the time. I mean that game I just played that for as long as they'd let me in there doing that.
Is it the one where you're flying around and then all of a sudden like you have to lightsaber battle with Vader and stuff?
No, this is one where it was like it was arcade version. The graphics were real primitive.
Oh, okay. This one was like 3D. The one I'm thinking. This was Star Wars Trilogy, the game. I think.
Yeah, you're thinking of one that came out around in the late '90s, where you could play either New Hope or Empire or Jedi. I'm talking like you had to sit down and you were in the X-wing, and for a while you would be blowing up TIE fighters, and then when the game got to a certain point, it would put you down in the trench, and you had to keep shooting off the pieces off the side walls and everything, and just making it all the way down to the end. You even had like little barriers at the top and the bottom. Sometimes it'd change levels and things. You'd have to keep moving up and down, and your shields would only last you so long. And like I said, you could look it up and see pictures of it. The graphics were really primitive, but I mean, that game, I just played that for hours. So, I mean, people would even stand in line around that thing waiting for someone to quit.
So you just went way back in the Wayback Machine.
Oh, yeah, way back.
All right, cool. All right, man. Brian, what's your number one?
I was gonna say Mario 3, but we already talked about that. So yeah, Mario 3 is my favorite. But I just want to say real quick that the game that changed shooting games for me, and I totally forgot about Lethal Enforcer, so this speech sucks now. But was the first time I played Time Crisis, the first one in the arcade.
Yeah.
Oh man, with the foot, like the foot pad, how you duck behind cover and you'd work with a partner. It was so awesome. It was just a new take on shooting games that I just had never had before. You know, nobody had. It was awesome.
I just remember action.
Yeah, action. I have to pay $20 every time we say it now.
That was a cool game. Like I think I beat 1 and 2. Which one is the one where they started using a machine gun, or is that Crisis Zone? I think
you're.
I mean, I'm sure you can pick up like an upgrade for a machine gun.
Oh no, not just that, but instead of holding a pistol, you were holding a machine gun.
Oh yeah, that's.
I think the third one had that.
The third one did. Okay. There's like a new one of those, or I mean, it's not new now, but we went to Dave and Buster's like a while back, and they had just a bunch of them. I think it was 4 or something, and it, you know, it's not what it used to be. You know, when you're a kid and you want to, you know, play a shooter game. Which, by the way, just while we're on the topic of shooters, does anybody remember Carnival?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I beat that in the arcade.
You know, like my brother told me that that's the only game in his life that has ever given him a mild seizure, and he can't play it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. He said that it made him feel like really sick and like start shaking, and he said that he asked the doctor about it and he had a mild seizure or something, and like he can't play that one. He said no other game has ever done it. I mean, is there a lot of colors or flashes? I don't even remember that game.
Looking at the cover art, it seems like something would give me night terrors.
Oh yeah.
I was. Are you scared of clowns?
I am a 23-year-old man that is scared of anything. The Walking Dead scares me. Let's just point it that way.
Well, I mean,
it scares me too that the show's going to take a nosedive. To be honest with you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Clowns.
But that game is great. I beat it multiple times. It was kind of like one of those games where every time I went to the mall, I would pretty much beat that game with the minimum amount of quarters I could use, and then like go about my business. It was also a really good way to work your forearm out, because the game used a pump shotgun, and instead of like actually trying to conserve ammo, I would just, because you had unlimited ammo with the regular shotgun, so what I do is just constantly pump the thing, and you know, it kind of takes you back to your 13-year-old years.
Good thing you had your arm muscles already built up.
Exactly. All right, cool. We're gonna move on. Brian, Mario 3. Andy, what's your number one, buddy?
Corey, you're gonna like this one a little bit. And my number one is Saturday Night Slam Masters.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Tell us about Saturday Night Slam Masters.
So, as Corey would probably know, the main character in it is based off one of the Street Fighter characters, which I can't remember the name of. But I just remember wasting countless hours of my life with me and one of my best buds growing up trying to beat it. And almost every time we would get our butts kicked. It was just like impossible to get to the end to us.
Not a Street Fighter character. You're talking about Hagar.
No, I can get it. I'm trying to figure out. The main character is based off Alex from Street Fighter 3.
Hold on. Saturday Night Slam Masters?
Yeah.
Oh, I may be thinking the wrong game here.
This one is like kind of like a cross between mainstream wrestling and Street Fighter.
Saturday Night Slam Masters. All right, let's see. It is Capcom for sure.
But like one of my favorite characters in the thing was called Great something.
Yeah, dude, Mike Hagar is in the game. He's from Final Fight.
Oh, is he? I know he's in the game.
Yeah. He's also in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Okay.
Okay, so Bill Slamkovich, is he
Biff?
Biff. He's based on Alex?
Yeah, Biff is.
Oh, Biff. Okay, I'm sorry. My eyes are getting old.
Like his character, the way his character looks is based off him.
Oh, it says the character is mentioned. The team is okay. Hold on. The Hyper Cannons were a CWA tag team comprised of Biff Slamkovich and Gunlock. The team is mentioned in Hugo's Ending and Street Fighter 3 Second Impact when paired with Ryu, Necro, or Gil. So he's modeled after Kerry Von Erich and is also believed to have been one of the influences in the later character design for Alex from Street Fighter 3. I did not know that, dude. That's pretty cool.
Well, like I was saying, one of my favorite characters, I think, like Great Oni or something like that. And the only reason I liked him is because he looked like the lead singer of Kiss.
Yeah, he's got like those horns on his face is all whited
Yeah. But that's definitely my number one game.
He's been called the Pale-Faced Devil.
That's the game that I played the most on the Super Nintendo, pre-PlayStation.
I played that quite a bit on MAM, I think. Mainly because Hagar was in it. Because you guys played Final Fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guy, Cody, Hagar, and Hagar's the freaking mayor. That's awesome. That's a cool pick, man. I didn't even think about that game. It's one of those games that doesn't really come up a lot, unless you played it as a kid, and then it's reminisce about it. Cool. All right, good choice. My number one is an original Nintendo game, and it's already been mentioned tonight once. It is River City Ransom. It's the first game I can remember that was a side-scrolling beat-em-up, but that's not what made this game awesome. What made the game awesome is A, you could play with your buddy, B, you had RPG elements where you basically collected coins from beating people up, which is cool too because you'd punch them till they'd say barf at the bottom of the screen, and then a coin would fall out of them. And different gangs were denoted by different colors of T-shirts, and you knew which gangs would give you the most money, if you traveled through the game. So you'd get new abilities, new powers. You could save your save state in the password system, which that's at least a little more challenging than just save the game. But that's definitely my favorite game. I think I've beaten that game more than any other game I've ever played. And it's the only game that's been mentioned more than once tonight. Interesting side note.
Did you ever, when you fight Benny and Clyde at the beginning?
Yeah.
Every time I fight them like 100 times.
Yeah, you can just keep going back and getting coins.
Yeah.
Just try to level up, get Acro Circus, and I can't remember the kick and punch ones where you just do multiple hits. But those were always like the best abilities.
That's where you had to read the books.
Yeah. I just can't remember the names of them. I remember the name Acro Circus because it was so silly.
You just say
it
silly?
Yeah, it was silly. It wasn't something you needed either. Cool. So I'm going to go through this list of games real quick. Just to recap for the listeners, we got Battletoads, A Link to the Past, Narc, Alien vs. Predator, River City Ransom, Killer Instinct, Illusion of Gaia, Star Trek for the Atari, X-Men for the Sega Genesis, Paperboy 2, Lethal Enforcers, ActRaiser, Earthbound, Mario 3, and Saturday Night Slam Masters. All really cool games. And did I say Street Fighter 2? Okay. And we're going to take just a short break, guys, and we will be back with you
So
here
wrap it up, right?
Dude, I've got to drop a deuce. Bad.
Hey, did they make a Narc for Xbox?
They made one for PlayStation 2.
I want to say they made one for Xbox. Maybe it's a different one that I'm thinking about.
I don't know. I looked it up on Wikipedia. They said they made one for PS2. But I think it was the last time they... What's that?
They probably just ported the PS2 version on Xbox.
Probably did, yeah. Yeah, that old Star Wars game, that used vector graphics on it.
What Star Wars game was it?
It was a Star Wars arcade game. If you keyword it like that in Google, just type in Star Wars arcade game.
Like the one that's actually still in arcades right now?
No, I mean, this was back in 1983.
Oh.
Used vector graphics in color, but they were like, I mean, you look at the images on there, you can see how primitive it was. And they actually put it on, I was looking it up, they actually put it on Atari 2600. I believe that when some of the other Atari systems actually got a conversion for it.
There was a game Sega released. It was, I think, Star Wars 32X or 3DO. No.
Yeah.
But
the one I liked best was the arcade game they came out with in 1998.
What was that one?
Star Wars Trilogy arcade game.
Oh, yeah.
That was a shooter game.
I don't care how old I'll be. If that's there, I will still pump the money and play that stupid thing.
They're selling it for $1,000 on eBay.
Really?
Yeah, I kid you not. They got a guaranteed 100% seller selling it for $1,000. Buy it now.
I have never beaten that stupid game.
Me neither. That's why I kept plunking money into it. Nikki had to pull me away from it when it was over there in front of Walmart, over the old Northgate Walmart.
Yeah.
Before they turned it into a Hobby Lobby. She's like we were just dating at the time. She'd have to pull me away from that damn thing. But look, do you want to spend money in this store or not? Yeah. Well, then get off the damn game.
Yeah, I'll select. You can select your chapter. Select chapter, right? Just New Hope.
Yeah, you could get New Hope, Empire,
I would always
Jedi.
go to Jedi, dude. I could never beat Vader. It's like, this is ridiculous.
Barely beat him. I was so stinking close, and then it was like kicked me right off there. Like, was it the Opry Mill Mall? Is that what they call it? Yeah, they have the one where you sit down and you and another person can sit there and play split screen.
That's awesome.
And it was in the bowling alley bar place, they had there at the other end near the theater. And we went there back in 2002, and that was just so cool.
I love arcade machines. They build these giant cabinets that kind of pulls you in where you have to actually operate a lot of crap. Like it was an 18-wheeler game.
Yeah.
Big giant truck cab.
That's what I loved about that old Star Wars arcade game, that one from '83, because you could just sit down and make yourself comfortable and just play for hours.
Did you ever play the one that actually moved?
Star Wars arcade game that moved?
No, I'm thinking. Wait, no, I'm getting it confused. It was just a fighter jet one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like it would flip you upside down and shit.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
It's in Terminator 2 when Eddie Furlong's character's in the arcade playing it.
Yeah, that
I
one.
forgot what he's got. Ace something.
Yeah.
Wasn't Ace? No.
Hey, Kretschmar.
What?
Have you seen this app on the PS3 called Crackle?
No.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
in
go-
a video.
Yeah, it's free videos and movies and shows, but the only catch is they have commercials in them.
It's not bad if you just want to watch free stuff. They're always adding stuff to it.
Oh my god!
But isn't it like random stuff? It's nothing
Oh.
like real big, is it?
Oh, I mean, like on the, let's see,
They're adding new stuff all
on the
the time.
most popular movies right now: National Security, District 9, Underworld 1 and 2,
I think I like-
Final
yeah.
Fantasy 7, Balls
Yeah.
Out, Da Vinci Code, Hostel 2.
They got Lakeview Terrace, man.
Man, they got the 6th Day from
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger.
that's what I was about to say.
They got some old stuff too, man. I watch that a lot. If you don't want to pay for anything, and if you can deal with
They have
commercials,
TV
it's pretty
shows?
cool. Yeah. They don't have a big selection of TV shows though.
Let's see. I can look real quick.
They got Married with
Most
Children,
popular.
Rescue Me.
Oh, they've got
Californication.
every single
the
Godzilla movie.
X-Men anime from MTV. Anybody watch that? Blade and Iron Man anime.
They got a little
Woke
cheesy
the
movies.
Dead with John Heater. I didn't even know he did things anymore.
Dude, they got a ton of anime on there.
Hey, speaking of anime, there should be a new app that just came out. I don't know if it's on the PSN network, but it's called Neon Alley. Have y'all seen it? Same thing like Crackle and Hulu. That's all they stream is just anime.
Yeah, Kretschmar, lots of anime if you watch that.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we gotta wrap
You
this up. I gotta get to work.
Did you really just take a
Yeah.
poop in like 2 minutes?
Did you wipe?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I did. I didn't even get sat down before it started coming out.
He has a bidet.
I don't have a bidet.
Corey,
Yeah.
in the last part, I say if you don't have anything written down, we should just like on the air brainstorm what our next show should be about.
I got some written down. Either horror movies, something about horror movies, zombies or something. I don't know, or cosplay.
Well, what are we going to talk about with cosplay? Because it's just going to be like, yeah, you can make a costume.
You see
No,
that
I got
see
some
that
interviews
incredibly
lined
fat,
up.
ugly dude? Yeah, Corey doesn't need to be wearing that anymore.
All right, cool. Can we start?
I'm cute, motherfucker.
Hey, let's the next one just do cheesy movies, cheesy B movies of all genres, and then you can do the cosplay for the next one to get more time.
Mothman?
Mothman.
Please tell me you've seen Mothman.
You do know we have another list, Brian, right?
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, I think me and Kretschmar are about to die.
Yeah, some of us gotta go to work tomorrow.
Damn it.
Well, who all needs to go?
I mean, I was going to go, but I thought you were going to wrap it up. And then...
Stop whining! Put the coat down, you faggot.
You could always do the hardest one and just sum it up to one.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, just want everybody to do their most either frustrating or most difficult moment of any retro game that you can remember in your past.
What if it's one you just hate?
Or it could be a hate, yeah, because my moment is going to be something that like just pisses me off.
You gotta let Barbie's horse adventure go, man.
Right, y'all ready to get started?
Yep.
Get ready for the worst Christmas present ever.
Hey, well then let Kretschmar and Brian go first because they gotta get off.
Yep.
All right, I'll call them first. All right, cool. We're back. We are now going to discuss our most frustrating moment in retro gaming history. I'm going to let Eric Kretschmar start this one off for us.
All right. My most frustrating, irritating moment. Maximum Carnage for the Super NES.
Oh my god.
Amazing, fun game. Beat 'em up. I remember, no save points. I managed to make it all the way to Carnage. And I'm like, kicked his ass. Last life. I'm like, yeah, I beat it. And then the credits start to roll, and Carnage gets back up and murders my stupid ass.
Dude, I couldn't even get that far, dude. That was a hard game.
It was hard.
Oh god, that game was stupid hard. But dude, the graphics were cool, and it had a Green Jello theme song. You know, dun, 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 dun. Anyway, I don't know if people know who that is, but song Three Little Pigs. That would be the band that did that song. So
now, was that game different than the one that was in the arcade where you could be the Submariner?
The Submariner was not in this game.
Okay.
Maximum Carnage wasn't an arcade game.
Yeah, but you remember that Spider-Man arcade? I thought it was like the same game. It wasn't?
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
This was just a super... was this even on the Genesis?
I
know,
don't remember.
Super Nintendo for sure. It might have been Genesis as well. I don't know. But it was stupid hard. All right, cool. Yeah, good pick, Kretschmar. What you got, Brian? What's your frustrating or anger-inducing moment?
I don't remember what level, but I never could get far in Contra. Like, I just feel like it was just too easy to die, you know? You just get hit with, like, one thing, you're dead. And I know it had the awesome code that everybody loves and quotes all the time. And what did that code give you? Like unlimited lives, or anybody remember?
I thought it was 33 lives.
33. Yeah, it's just. I mean, it was such a hard game. I just remember getting far in it and just getting shot and just you're gone. You know.
It was a hard game, but it was good. I remember beating it multiple times, but I don't ever remember beating it without the Konami code.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everybody on the planet had to use that code to beat it. God, I thought I had a side one that was really short, but I lost it. I'm just gonna stick to my my Contra.
All right, cool. You guys need to drop out?
Yep, some of us got work in the morning.
All right, we're gonna let Kretschmar and Wallace go. They're gonna get some sleep and generate more prosperity in the valley.
Remember to keep tweeting and keep Facebook, and Corey's gonna keep track.
Yep, I'm going to give out all the contact info at the end of the show.
And remember, Corey, your opinion is mostly wrong.
All right, buddy.
Later.
Get some sleep. All right, we'll go back to our original order. Eric Williams, what's your frustrating moment?
The most frustrating, and one of the games I can say that actually introduced me to cursing was Friday the 13th. Please tell me anybody's played that.
Yes.
Oh my god. Game was tough, dude.
Hey, in the 80s of gaming, man, dominated by bouncing cartoon heroes and corny villains, here's a chance to play the gory bloodfest your parents wouldn't let you watch. I mean, okay, the game didn't let you do that. Instead, you played a camp counselor clad in short shorts that are even uncomfortable, even at 8 bits, okay? And why it's an annoying game. The game consists primarily of you walking in a giant loop throwing rocks at zombies. Yes, zombies.
And birds.
Yes, birds too.
And I think snakes.
What is it?
There was something on the ground. I think it was a snake. And like if you had the rock, it would go right over the snake's head.
Yeah.
Till you got the knife. Thank God for the knife, because it goes straight.
And eventually, if Jason decides to attack you, and even if you do manage to defeat him, and wander around, he leaves. And then
he's a slim chance to kill him too.
Yeah, and then he leaves. If you before you severely wound him, and then you have to wander around aimlessly until he starts killing other camp counselors. The game goes on until all 6 counselors have died. And really, I mean, that entire game, like the worst part of the game was when you find the first time your first counselor gets killed, because you didn't reset your compass to calibrate for Friday the 13th retarded logic. Anyway,
there's no logic to that game, dude. Even the map makes no sense.
Yeah, basically just pick a direction, walk, see what happens. That's all it is.
Let's hope for the best, because that map sucks.
Kind of like Home Alone.
Yeah.
You didn't even mention the way Jason looks, though, man. He's got like a freaking aquamarine blue hockey mask.
No, it's weird green. He's wearing purple, like jogging suit and green shoes.
He's got like a freaking.
Sure, it's not Richard Simmons.
No, it's that dude off Three's Company, Mr. Roper or whatever, like hanging out in his leisure suit with his green hockey mask.
Wasn't that the guy at Mayberry or Andy Griffith's show?
I still think it's Simmons, man.
Andy.
That was the same guy, wasn't it?
Don Knotts.
Yeah, Don Knotts.
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't Mr. Roper. He was the other
he was
one.
Mr. Furley.
Oh,
Mr. Furley. That's right.
Man, that's just I'm going too far back on the
stuff's
Wayback
way
Machine.
before my time, anyway.
Yeah,
Reboot the Wayback.
I'm already way back.
Eric, I totally agree with you. And the Nightmare on Elm Street game was
just as bad.
Every bit as bad as that one. It was just doo-doo that wasn't in the movies. Snakes and zombies.
They never explain why there's hordes of the undead just swarming around the camp the entire time Jason's there.
Great graphics.
You had to find that lighter. Like, go find the lighter and then go to a cabin and light a fire.
While you're throwing rocks at sticks and zombies, Jason is presumably picking up your other counselors and friends in sleeping bags and crushing them against trees.
You had to fight his mom's severed head flying around the air.
What?
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Before you fight Jason, you have to kill his mom's head, which is flying through the air. I think spitting fire at you or something.
What was that gaming? What was that game store that they had over near Hamilton Place Mall that sold all used games as well as
Game
movies
Force?
and stuff? Yeah, it's like
Force,
dude, they could never get rid of that game.
I think the
Always
Hamilton
there.
Place one was Game Exchange.
Yeah, there you go, Game Exchange.
I think Hickson was Game Force.
Yeah.
There's one out there by the rave now.
Really?
No, they went down. They went under.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Game Exchange always had Friday the 13th game there. I swear it had the thickest amount of dust on that box I had ever seen.
I think most of their games had a really thick amount of dust.
That's to keep it so creepy.
There you go.
All right, Sykes, what's your frustrating moment?
Probably playing Mortal Kombat and all the guys talking about, oh, you gotta learn this kill move, you gotta pull off this kill move, you gotta rip out his spine, you gotta do this. I couldn't do any of those things, man. I sucked. So frustrating sitting there and someone else is like, was it brutality kill or fatality? And I mean, they're doing the fatalities on me, and I couldn't come back with anything. I was horrible at it. Absolutely horrible.
One thing that's frustrating is when like there's supposed to be a hidden code when one of the developers' picture pops out. Like, whoopsie! You have to hit a button code at a certain time to open up like some hidden menu.
Yeah. I just love when we started saying all that around when we weren't at Blockbuster. We just like, oopsie or popsy. I mean, we were just out of nowhere. Something didn't go right or something happened at the store. We'd start saying that. But yeah, real frustrating. Couldn't get it to work.
So you had performance anxiety.
I guess.
All right. Andy, what's your frustration?
So mine is like just a game I hated, and it was the worst Christmas present I ever got in my entire life. Ready for Rex Ronan, Experimental Surgeon.
What?
That's a game?
Yeah. So this game was pretty much like, essentially, you're Rex Ronan, and you go into somebody's body that apparently is dying of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes for like 40 years of their life. And you go in and you have to like clean all the cancer out and like clean their teeth and like clean their colons and all this stuff. Awfulest Christmas present I ever got in my entire
It's
life.
sold as an educational game, by the way.
Yeah, that's what it was. And it was like backed by the USDA or something like that. And apparently my parents were like, oh, this is a great game to buy.
I'm looking at it right now. This can't be any fun.
Dude, it was. I've never been so like Lou Ferrigno about a game in my entire life. I just wanted to like break the shit out of it.
I'm looking at the graphics right now. It looks like you've got a laser gun cleaning plaque off of someone's teeth.
You start out in his teeth and you're like cleaning them with a I'm doing hand motions in my room right now. But you're like cleaning it with like some futuristic water gun.
Right.
And then you go through the colon and you're like scraping stuff off the sides, and it's awful. It's just the worst thing ever.
What is this, like pre-cancerous cells you're scraping out, or you're killing off like with some kind of blowtorch?
Pretty much. I mean, that's...
There's little sparkly things coming off of it too.
That game would have been more fun if they would put Mario as the main character.
Yeah, it was absolutely the worst game I think had ever been made.
Man,
it was awful.
I'm not looking at a rectum right here, am I?
You what?
I'm not looking at a graphic of a rectum right here, am I?
I hope not.
That's in the game.
There's a good chance though. That game had every part of the body pretty much that I remember.
Yikes.
And I can't actually say I've ever like, officially beat it because I just got so mad.
What level are you on, son? I'm stuck in the bunghole, Dad.
It's the worst thing ever.
Let me help you out there, son.
So really, you could be completely honest and say, "Man, this game is ass."
I mean, legitimately, you come out of one probably.
Look at
pre-cancerous scales. Let's clean this.
Just scrub those suckers out.
There's got to be a YouTube thing that we could play for this.
Didn't they they made the cells like look like? Didn't they? Some of the cells like look like gang members or something.
I've never heard of this game.
How have you not heard of this?
What system is it on?
Super Nintendo.
Yes. They've got a YouTube video. It's like 5 minutes long. Look at it now.
Some guy who made that video thinks that's like the greatest game in the world.
Dude, I bet
you need to download it and just like
the game.
You need to download it and live in its crappy glory.
I might try it out. I bet you Dustin Stevens is out there loving that game though. That dude likes the weirdest games.
There's like robots in his intestines and stuff, and I'm like, what? Really?
Well, it starts off saying like Jake thought he had it all, and now he's been smoking for 15 years. So now it's like Blackburn Tobacco Company's afraid that if Jake lives, he'll tell the world how dangerous smoking really is.
Yeah, because the main character apparently worked for this tobacco company, and he's been smoking his entire life, and he goes, now the place he's always worked for is killing him.
Okay, I'm watching this character go around and clean this guy's teeth. I'm telling you, he's shooting out like little green sparkles out of his gun. This is the gayest thing I have ever seen.
I don't know about y'all, but I want to watch the movie Inner Space now.
That's a good movie.
80s classic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can see why you hated your parents over this, dude.
It was pitiful. It was pitiful.
This is like blatantly obvious to send the message to kids: don't smoke, don't do this, don't do that. The guy's just sitting here somewhere, like shaking his head back and forth. I don't even know where he is now.
I wonder if they really made any money off this game.
That'd be pretty interesting.
That's probably the guy who made the YouTube video.
I'm looking at Rex Ronin's sales to see how much it sold. But like, it's like a game that like I thought was hard. Like now, what I'm talking about, this is just a game I hated was Rex Ronin. But a game I thought was hard was Pilot Wings. Did you guys ever play that?
That was hard, dude. I remember that game.
Like you'd start skydiving and you couldn't even see where you're supposed to land at. It was that's just one of those games when I was playing as a kid. That it was a game I thought was before its time, but it was just so hard to play.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was supposed to be revolutionary, but it like lacked the fun factor, and there was some really, base level issues with the game that made it almost unplayable. If you can't see where you're supposed to land, how are you supposed to land?
I know, and you'd start out skydiving and there's no target, no nothing. You wait 30 minutes while you're flying to the bottom of the ground, and then there's a target 100 yards away from you.
I guess it also had the problem for me of like, you're just flying around, you're not shooting anything, you're not blowing anything up. I was like, what's the point of this?
I mean, that's true. It was really one of its like first true flight sims, though,
Yeah, for a console, I guess. Because Microsoft already had their flight simulator on PC, right?
Right.
Did it come out then? I'm trying to think how long ago when like
there had to be.
This game came out around NES. Super NES got it December 21, 1990. I think we got it over here in 91.
I remember, Red Baron and stuff like that coming out long time ago. Yeah, I'm old.
Did you guys ever play SimCity on the Super Nintendo?
No.
Yeah, I did.
There's no way. There's no way you couldn't go bankrupt.
Yeah, it was not the game that you played on the PC.
No, not at all.
But as a general rule, I'm sure there's games that break this rule now. I found that most of the time, games like SimCity and things like that, and real-time strategy games. Not that that's a real-time strategy game, but it's similar. They don't work out as well on consoles. Just like not having the mouse and stuff.
It's not being able to move so quickly across the map, I think, is what really does it. And you get so turned around.
Yeah, I'll stick with my ActRaiser, man. That game really had the perfect balance of city building, which was a really simplistic city building situation. But the game was just, I don't know, it had a really amazing feeling to it. Let's see, I actually have a list of frustrations. They're not all super lengthy discussions we have to have. But my number 3, I put down the ET game for the Atari.
Oh man, that's on my list too. Man,
dude,
that was the most frustrating game probably in history.
It's unplayable.
Yeah, it is.
It's probably the most terrible game.
They said it was that. They said that was the basic thing. Is like you said, it was you couldn't do anything with it.
I got the game. E.T. was the first movie I saw in the theater.
Wow.
My family took me to see that in the theater, and that was my first theatrical experience. But they got me that game thinking, oh yeah, Corey's gonna love this. He likes that movie so much. And you get the game, you put it in. There's like some Nazi dude chasing you down.
Yeah, some military guy, I think it is, isn't it? Like he's in military fatigues or something.
It's a dude with a briefcase and a trench coat. I think every time I play it, I played it. I wouldn't play it now if you paid me. I see that guy from Raiders, from Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's like, or is it Temple of Doom? No, wait, it's Raiders. The guy that gets burnt in the bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. That's who I see in that game. Why is that guy chasing ET around? And like, you fall down in these holes, and you're trying to hit up to like make ET's head stretch, which is supposedly making him fly for whatever reason. And you're trying to make flowers grow. It's a crappy game. There's like 80,000 copies of it or something buried in the desert somewhere.
It was
because the game was so bad.
It was the game that killed the Atari. If I'm not mistaken. Or it took it down to a point where it didn't recover.
For hosting such a piece of crap, they kind of deserved it. Game was terrible. The second one I got, this is kind of a little story. Whenever people had trouble getting their Nintendo games to work in their original Nintendo, what'd you do?
Blew on the cartridge.
You opened up the inside.
Well, you did something to mess with the little board. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that when I first got my Nintendo, and I heard. You remember the first Zelda commercial? Do you guys remember? I think it was a guy in a black T-shirt, and he looked kind of crazy, and I didn't know what the game was, but I was a little intrigued. I was like, I'm gonna check it out. I went down to Video West, the little video store in Morristown, and I rented Zelda. Took it home, put it in. I couldn't read any text on the screen. Everything was blocks. I assumed if you hit start, the game would begin. I was a green block walking around, getting killed. I had no idea what was going on. Other blocks were moving around, shooting blocks at me. I was really confused. I was like, this is probably the worst game I've ever played. Well, I took it back. I was like, man, that game's terrible. And they were like, really? People love this game. And I'm like, people are crazy. So then I went to this guy's house. And he's playing this game, and there's this little elf kid walking around like with a sword, shooting, swords out of his sword, I guess, and fighting dragons and monsters and stuff. And I was like, God, and it had this cool music. And I was like, God, what is this game? This is awesome. He's like, it's Zelda. I was like, no, it's not, dude. I rented this game like 2 weeks ago, and it was a block walking around getting hit by other blocks. He's like, dude, did you blow out the cartridge? I was like, blow out the cartridge? Why would I do that? He's like, oh, they get dust on them, and the graphics look weird.
They used to have a cleaner kit for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know about a cleaner kit,
I didn't either.
But I ended up getting the game for Easter in my Easter basket, and freaking awesome game. The reason I bring it up as a frustration is just because I had this awesome game, and I didn't see it for what it was. It was just crappy to see Zelda go down like that.
You just better be glad you didn't get Rex Ronan, experimental surgeon.
Dude, I'm thanking my lucky stars. And then my number one most frustrating moment actually has to do with my number one retro game, River City Ransom. I think it was the first time that my friend and I sat there trying to beat the game seriously. And we got really far. We got to the point where you go to River City High. And for whatever reason, the boss that you fight right outside of River City High wouldn't show up. So what happens if you can't fight him? Nothing. You can't proceed with the game. Let's see. What is his name? Ivan. Yeah, you're supposed to fight Ivan, beat him, and then go into the school. Well, if you can't fight him, the door never opens. You can't get to the final boss. You can't beat the game. So we basically had a game that was stuck at that point. Had to completely restart. Which, when you're a kid and time's going slow, that feels like forever, and it's frustrating. Since then, I've went back and beat it, I don't know, 20 times, but just getting stuck there really kind of disenchanted me for a while. Anybody else got any gripes about video games?
Well, my biggest gripe, talking about your River City Ransom, is how you could literally kill your teammate.
We tried to avoid that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
It is. You can easily hit them, especially when you start picking up enemies and throwing them.
Or like throwing your objects, like your steel pipes and stuff that you're using. Because I used to get in fights with my buddy that I'd play it with, and like we'd get in fist fights about us hitting each other in the game.
And people say video games make people violent.
They make you tougher.
They do make you tougher.
And they make you sneakier. You're playing a fighting game, you just get the controller out, you instantly win.
And they teach you how to cure cancer.
Clean teeth.
And clean teeth.
Yeah, with little green sparkles.
And clean some man's butthole.
That sounds.
What?
That game reminds me of that mission in Ocarina of Time where you're inside the fish. You know what I'm talking about?
I hear crickets.
That's the one on. That's the first one on 64, right?
Yeah, Zelda Ocarina of Time, where when you're still a little kid, you have to go get the water. Some kind of giant fish, and you end up inside it.
Dude, I don't remember that part at all.
I remember a fish, but I mean.
Do you remember being inside the fish?
I'm saying it wrong. Whatever.
I remember episode
Quest for Peace, everyone. Quest for Peace.
Quest for Peace. Does anybody else have any video game moments you want to reminisce about? Like you got a special present that wasn't that game where you clean teeth and buttholes, or some moment in a game or something. Just something that you think is interesting or you want to mention on the show.
Does it have? It has to be retro related.
Preferably. I mean, unless it's just a really good story, then we'll let you get away with it.
I was Castlevania, the original one. I think it's when I actually started caring not just how the fun the game was, and how I actually started caring. I enjoyed games that pulled you into the story. The story started to matter. Mm-hmm.
Castlevania was awesome. Yeah. The first one was so difficult, though.
But I started I wanted to finish and I wanted to keep playing because I wanted to see what happened to my character and I wanted to see what was next, and games that pull you into that.
Dude, I still have never beat that game.
I beat it twice.
With the save state, I've gotten to Dracula's castle, and I've never been able to get... It's the stupid skeletons throwing bones, and you're jumping across pits.
Yeah.
That stuff sucks. It's really difficult.
I'm thankful they introduced, what was it, the mid-90s, late 90s, they started introducing checkpoints.
Was it then when they started putting those in?
I can't remember. I know it was saved, but if you died in a level, most retro games, you had to start the entire freaking game level over again.
What about...
Well, Simon's Quest had passwords.
What about GoldenEye? How did they do that one? I can't remember. Do you have to have the memory pack or what? Because I can't remember. Seemed like you had to do the whole thing over again.
Yeah, I believe you did. Well, I believe they got to certain now.
Like once you finished it, it saved it. I think once you finished that level, it was fine. But I can't remember if it had checkpoints or not.
I think it was all because the levels are kind of small in that game.
I know Super NES. One of my favorite games is Batman Returns.
Yeah.
I love kicking the crap out of those clowns.
There's a game. Any of y'all playing the Sega CD games?
Just remember seeing the ads for the console. Never got to play any.
As you can tell, I was deprived as a child, and I was only I only had Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo.
Your parents wanted you to be a doctor, obviously.
Well, I failed it.
There's a game I played on Sega CD, and I've tried to remember the name of this game for so long, and I was going to talk about it tonight. If anybody's listening, it's kind of futuristic a little bit. You play a detective, and if anybody's seen the movie Blade Runner and Big Trouble in Little China, kind of merge those movies together a little bit. But you play this detective in this little crappy apartment, and it was kind of like an adventure game. And you had to solve this mysterious drug that's on the street. You're trying to find out what it is. I want to say it's something of the Hidden Dragon. I know the dragon is in the title.
Crouching Tiger?
No, it's not that.
Crouching Tiger of the Hidden Dragon.
But I cannot remember the name of this game to save my life. But I played it all the time. I still have never beat it. But it was kind of as when I was younger, it had really a lot of adult themes in there. It's like any adult's like, don't play that, it's bad for you. He's like, I want to play that for sure. Anyway, but I found a list of Sega CD games, and I can't even find it on that list.
I found Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective.
Interesting.
I want to say
That's not it, is it?
No, it's like Hidden Dragon. Something. It doesn't actually make you think it's a detective story in the title.
Rise of the Dragon?
Yes, there it is. Yes.
There it is, Rise of the Dragon. I have that.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to have that stuff, but I lost on my Sega hardware years ago.
No worries.
Blade Hunter is a former LA Police Department officer.
Blade Runner?
Blade Hunter. Blade Hunter, I'm sorry.
I think that's why I got Blade Runner popped in my head.
Well, it says Rise of the Dragon's CD vision of the future is inspired by the film Blade Runner.
Okay, cool.
The guy's name is Blade.
Blade Hunter.
Is it really?
Yeah. William Blade Hunter. His clothing also resembles that one of Harrison Ford.
Man, they really
no wonder I like
off.
this game so much, because I'm such a fan of Blade Runner.
Oh, this game came out on PC as well. Rise of the Dragon is a graphic adventure game released in 1990 for DOS and Macintosh, and later remade for the Mega CD, Sega CD in 1993, as well as the Amiga. It was one of the few adventure game titles developed by Dynamics, a company that was better known as an action and simulator game developer. In some sense, the game was an experiment by Dynamics to expand its development repertoire to other game genres. Since the company was bought out by Sierra Online in 1990, the Mega CD version added voice actors to the game, including Cam Clark in the main role as William Blade Hunter, and was given an MA-17 rating by the Video Game Rating Council. Most likely for profanity, references to fictional illicit drug, cross-dressing, prostitution, and partial female nudity. This game sounds awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah, bro.
And it came out on the PC also. I need to see if I can find a copy of that on PC.
No, you need the full-blown one for the Sega CD. You need the MA-17, man, not that watered-down garbage.
Well, I don't have the hardware anymore.
We'll get you some hardware, bro. I was thinking, I thought of something a second ago. Brian mentioned Jurassic Park for the NES earlier, and I couldn't really tell if he loved it or hated it. Apparently, Andy hated it.
It was just such a bad game.
Okay, hold on. It was really similar to the Super Nintendo version, I think, right?
Well, the Super Nintendo ones I played.
You did play?
The Super Nintendo one is the one I played.
And you didn't like it?
No.
Dude, okay, I thought that game was challenging. It was pretty tough. And it was scary, which is cool, because the first time I saw the first Jurassic Park movie, it scared the crap out of me. And I loved it. But it's the only game I've ever sat down and actually made a strategy guide for. I sat there with graph paper and drew out maps for each area.
Wow.
What item was in, I used the little squares to put which items were where. Yeah, dude, I freaking loved that game.
Maybe the reason I didn't like it is because it was one of the first games I played, and to be honest, when it came out, I was 5, so I probably didn't know how to beat it.
Yeah, it would have been too tough for a 5-year-old.
But
I just felt like it captured the movie a lot better than the Sega Genesis Jurassic Park game, which was good too. But I felt like the Super Nintendo one was way more like the movie, because the Sega one you could play as a friggin' raptor, and jump over stuff with a raptor. What's the point of a raptor trying to get through Jurassic Park? That's where you live, dude. You're a freaking raptor. So has no one played that game?
I don't remember that one.
I played the Sega version.
Yeah, the Sega one. Yeah, you could play as Grant or a raptor, and it was cool. I don't know, it was a cool game, but definitely like the Super Nintendo one better. Anybody else got any harrowing stories of video game wonder?
Everything on the Virtual Boy absolutely sucked.
Eye cancer. The game system gives you eye cancer.
I was talking to a friend of mine today, man, and I was explaining, anybody who's played that longer than 15 minutes, I'm surprised you don't have a brain tumor by now. Because that's as long as I could play it without getting a severe headache.
Grief.
Dude, my sister rented that. You remember when Blockbuster used to rent game systems?
Yeah,
Oh,
I used to rent consoles from them.
I used to rent those out to people.
My sister rented the Virtual Boy and I don't know, Mario and something else, and I rented a PS1 and like Battle Arena, Toshinden, and Mortal Kombat, I think. And yeah, I played a lot of Mortal Kombat, not so much the Virtual Boy. And I think I pretty much said I don't think my sister should be sticking her eyes in this thing because nothing good can come of it.
I had 2 games for that when I got it. One, it's kind of a cross between Star Fox. It might be Star Fox. I might be wrong, but there's no. It's nothing. It's just like lines. It's just mapping. There's no textures or anything. It's all infrared. And then there was a boxing game after that, but you couldn't play it for long because you get a sharp headache right in the center of your head.
I vaguely remember playing some tank game on it.
I think I remember that. That thing sucked, dude. There's literally like nothing good you can say about that system.
Well, for a while there, it's like Nintendo was starting to follow Sega's rule. You know, because Sega, they almost every 6 months they put out a new piece of hardware. And if you notice, Nintendo started down that line a little bit, and they slowed off when they seen what happened to Sega.
Well, I mean, you know what's kept Nintendo afloat is their handheld. I mean, Nintendo's had a freaking force choke on the handheld market since the original Game Boy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, none of these PSPs and any of this crap can hold a candle to how much of the market the various versions of the Game Boy and DS or whatever they have now to what they hold.
I still have my original Game Boy, the big brick. It still works too.
I found Susan's in the garage. Mine's long gone, but
Nikki wore hers out. She wore it out playing Tetris on it.
I have some device that I don't know where it came from or who got it for me, but you clamp it onto your Game Boy and you get it folds out these 2 giant speakers that are like half the size of the Game Boy on either side. And it has a screen that extends out where it's like it magnified the screen above the screen. I don't know. It had a light built into it. But
I don't remember what that's called, but I know what you're talking about.
It had like an extra 5 pounds. This means
it also had the button thing. You could lay this little
a joystick
piece of plastic. Yeah, joystick and like button extensions.
Yeah.
Like your buttons need to come out further because you can't push them hard enough.
Yeah.
Which is odd. Yeah, that was a good system, dude. Had a lot of good times playing the Mario games on there and Tetris, of course. Tetris was great. And then Final Fantasy Adventure, I think might have been the first video game to actually make me cry. I don't know if you guys have played that game, but like every freaking character in the game dies. I mean, just
Spoilers.
like you spoiler alert. Every time you meet a new character, you're like, wow, they're really cool, man. They're gonna fight with me and help. And then like you're like cool, and you get just enough time to get attached, 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, and then all of a sudden they die, and then you're sad. You're a little kid, and you don't understand why you have to be sad playing this game that made you happy.
Traumatizing.
It did, man. It almost ruined my childhood, but I still love it.
Anyways,
anything else, guys?
No, that's about all I got.
I'm good.
I just want to say another word about our sponsor, Fright Rags. That is fright-rags.com. The absolute best in horror t-shirts. I think Andy just looked at their website for the first time tonight, and he's already interested in getting one of the shirts. So there you go, folks. You just go check them out. You're gonna like at least one of the shirts.
Or you'll find a movie you want to watch.
Or exactly. I mean, you'll get on there and you'll be like, "Oh, Black Christmas! I haven't seen that in a coon's age." You probably won't say that, but they do have a Black Christmas t-shirt. I also just got an email from them. They have I don't know if everybody's seen this movie. I know I guarantee Eric Williams has seen it. I think I've watched it with him. Near Dark.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick's seen it?
Yeah, mid-'80s vampire flick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got a new design coming out.
Yep, limited edition, and they will only be available for, it looks like, until Monday, the 18th. So you guys, if you want to get a Near Dark limited edition t-shirt from Fright Rags, you better get on that quick.
Oh, that looks awesome.
There was another edition for Christine, I believe, wasn't there?
They've done a bunch of limited edition ones. They did one that was like a Texas Chainsaw, and it came in like a special box, and I think it had like maybe a little poster with it or something. I mean, it's like really cool stuff. And there's an Evil Dead 2. I think it's called Super Groovy Edition or something like that. But I mean, they make the coolest shirts, guys. Like, I mean, I know they're our sponsor, and we're supposed to be like, oh, they're great. But I mean, I've bought literally, no exaggeration, at least 50 shirts from this company, to the point where my T-shirt drawer was overflowing, and I had to get a lady who sews to make me a blanket out of them. So there you go. Get you a bunch of shirts from Fright Rags, then fill your drawer up, overflow it, make a blanket. Boom. Make a blanket.
Awesome.
Fright-rags.com. That's our sponsor. They're great. If you like horror movies and T-shirts, get them. Let's see. We have anything else? All right. Next week, our show. We're kind of in limbo. Actually, next week will be
in 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks, because if you're listening to this, then this is a week after Valentine's Day.
February 21st.
Thank you. Andy's good, man. He's a good guy. So we got a few options. We're either going to have a show about cosplay or a show about...
we do have Chattanooga coming up.
We do have Chattanooga coming up. Wait, when is that? That's March 1st, isn't it?
That's the first weekend of March, yes.
That would kind of be a cool topic then, because there'll be cosplayers at Chattanooga, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll check in about that. If it's not about cosplay, it will probably be about movies in some aspect. Eric suggested kind of cheesy, schlocky movies, and I haven't watched enough of those lately, so we might just do that. We may even get together and have just like a crappy movie marathon and talk to you guys about that. But yeah, we will be back with you every week with more exciting programming. Let's see. Anyway, if you guys would like to contact us, I want to go ahead and give you all the contact info. We have a Facebook fan page. That's facebook.com/Vitamin Geek Podcast. That is our fan page on Facebook. Go ahead and like us on there. You get updates through the Facebook site. Also on Twitter, we are twitter.com/Vitamin Geek or @Vitamin Geek. We love reading your tweets on there. Our email address is vitamingeekpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a new feature for the show. We have voicemail. If you'd like to call and leave us a message, that phone number is 423-822-2037. One more time, 423-822-2037. Leave us a message, a comment, suggestions, things you'd like to hear on the show. Because, I mean, we do this for you guys. We want, our listeners to enjoy it. We don't just, sit here talking to each other for, and thinking nobody's going to listen. So give us suggestions, ask us questions, things you'd like us to bring up on the show. We'd love to hear from you. We'll more than likely play your message on the show, unless you say something offensive or kooky. I guess that's it. I think that's all we have for you guys tonight. So Eric Williams.
Have a great evening, guys.
Patrick Sykes.
Take care, folks. Looking to hear from you real soon.
Awesome. And our good friend, special guest, and good Samaritan, Andy Hickson.
Make sure not to smoke cigarettes. Play Rex running.
If you're going to smoke, don't smoke for 15 years.
Brush your teeth.
You might get your butthole clean. And I have been your host, Corey Keelan, reminding you that Vitamin Geek Podcast is the only show that guarantees you your weekly dosage of all the things geeks love. Have a good weekend, guys.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.